Warning: the voices heard in this video are made synthetically using artificial intelligence. Nothing in this video reflects anything actually stated by the real-life individuals involved. This video is for entertainment purposes only, and serious political content will be avoided for that purpose. Enjoy.
Today we gather to stop the Wardens, as we march one step and two with our Jordans. But more than that, we have a correction of something that happened in Origins despite my objection. Welcome back, viewers.
Hey Donald, do you think we can stop by Mommy Cassandra's room first?
Actually, if we are making requests, can we go and talk to Scout Harding outside the bar too?
Jesus, you two, this is not a family trip. This is my damn episode, and I decide who we talk to. We are going straight into Iron Bull, who we haven't talked to since the start of Joe's episode.
Well, this is his dragon-killing conversation, which was not only unlocked during Donald's last episode since he killed a high dragon, but interestingly, Iron Bull doesn't have to be in the party for this conversation to trigger.
Why would you ever not bring Iron Bull to a high dragon fight? That shit has to be an impeachable offense. Just like not downing all 3 drinks with him here.
So this drink is called Marasa Locke, which is also the name of the Qunari we meet in the Wounded Coast in Act 1 before fighting the cave, Tal Vashoth. Maras means nothing in Qunari, which shows how the Qunari view alcohol and those who drink it too.
I guess that's why Iron Bull is happy to be away from them for now. Well, if you're already doing his companion quest, his approval is about to be maxed, which means bringing him to kill more dragons is just icing on icing at this point.
I'll choose to ignore that word salad, and I am still going to bring Bull to kill a dragon this episode. Also, Obama, translate what Bull just said for me.
I don't have to translate it. Iron Bull is about to do that in a moment. Also, Donald, what high dragon do you plan on killing this episode?
Obviously, the one in the Dwarf Wastes, Obama, since you tasked me with that area anyway, it only makes sense.
Oh boy.
Translation would be, I will bring myself sexual pleasure later, while thinking about this with great respect.
You shouted that while it was breathing fire at us?
Iron Bull was really just gooning mid-dragon fight. I don't know whether to be impressed or horrified.
I would say a little bit of both. I know Ogren would have been bricked up trying this with Bull here. Hell, I bet they would have a drinking contest to see which brew is stronger.
So this whole Qunari dragon connection is expanded on during Veilguard. Right, Obama? This is the first glimpse to that, right?
The first glimpse is the visual novel Until We Sleep, where Sten reveals their knowledge of dragon's blood and their connection with King Merrick. But this is the first in-game mention. It's true. As for the Veilguard connection, well, that gets more complicated. Iron Bull clearly has no idea about a literal connection with dragons, which Veilguard shows making sense and not making sense. Veilguard obviously has Taish, who would be born already, but she was taken before most of the Quan realized who she was. So it makes sense Iron Bull wouldn't know about her. However, it doesn't make sense because Veilguard reveals that ancient warriors called Adari were always a part of the Anton. And while they don't exist today, they were highly praised warriors during their time before traveling to Thetis. It could be understandable that Bull doesn't know, but like a lot of Veilguard lore, it's weird.
Like almost everything in Veilguard, I choose to ignore it. I prefer just to think like Grey Wardens Qunari are a little bit related to dragons, and it's what makes the big backs resistant to fire. And it makes George the First Warden Qunari extra resistant to tank bullshit.
As always with anything we don't like about the lore, we can search deeper in the lore to find something else we like instead. It's great being a lore mouthpiece, boys.
Dragons are the embodiment of raw power. But it's all uncontrolled, savage, so they need to be destroyed. Taming the wild.
Anyways, cheers to you, Bull, reminding viewers about the drinking competition, even if the main story episodes have fewer of those.
Oh, don't worry, Sleepy, we still have plenty of drinks left to take and more conversations with Iron Bull to have. I want to complete his personal quest today, so that means we have to talk to his crew in the courtyard first.
There's a little more we have to do to start his companion quest, but we will get into that as we go. For now, we can just appreciate the base broship going on and how our rogue Inquisitor just tanked 3 rounds of Qunari whiskey that kills your nerves. Back in Origins, that would have been like a constitution check or something at least.
We probably didn't pass that con check anyway, being a rogue elf, because our Inquisitor is definitely sloshed.
Well, we aren't drinking yet. Now it's time to drink with the boys. Oh, and the 2 chicks, I guess.
Wait, hold on. Only 2 chicks. Donald, is that a hint of understanding what Creme is from you? I'm surprised.
Joe, the shit I say in the Oval Office is just business. I'm trying to game right now, and the biggest enemy of Dragon Age isn't trans people existing. It's the woke mage virus that slowly is overtaking BioWare over the last decade. As long as Creme holds a weapon at the robes that they once called her neighbors, he can call himself whatever he wants in his free time.
I mean, that's one less fire we have to put out in the comment section, so whatever. I am all for it. A lot of people were nostalgic over this Creme scene after Veilguard, so we might as well hear Creme's story out of respect and move on to more Chargers lore.
The funniest part about this is the writers used Iron Bull to retcon the Qunari to being more progressive here. After the whole Sten incident in Origins where he calls us out for being here even though we are a woman, he even tells women to go back to the kitchen. I am pretty sure
Iron Bull, once again, just casually carrying the big ball of anxiety, nothing new there. When Bro actually enjoyed drinking, fucking, and fighting, you knew he was going to be leagues better.
They are real men, just like you are.
Maybe your people aren't so bad after all.
Don't get your hopes up, Creme. We still come down hard on the back talk. Anyway, here's the rest of the Chargers, or what's left of the rest.
So a few fun facts about the Chargers here first. Before I nitpick, I believe I mentioned earlier that Bull got most of his men from the mercenary company Fisher's Bleeders, which he was also a part of. Fisher was a terrible leader. So one day Bull told him off and offered anyone who agreed with him to follow him, which half of the company did, after of course a near-fatal duel between Fisher and Iron Bull. Apparently he is on okay terms with Fisher after this. Also, the Chargers do a lot of side quests off-screen, some of which we can see in war table missions and others we hear about in the visual novel. Mage Killer. Some of their major operations are taking out a camp of 50 Venatori in the Hissing Wastes with the help of Dorian and 2 of Liliana's Mage Killer agents, prevented another civil war in Orlais by defeating a would-be usurper in single combat in Perendale, collapsing the better part of a mountain on demons and Red Templars in South Reach, and defending a town with the only reward being bags of rice that Creme then turned into rice pudding for everyone. That last one you can find in the Dragon Age official cookbook in real life.
I think you blew me in at least a dozen people's minds that there is a Dragon Age cookbook in existence, Barry. How the hell have we never mentioned it before now?
Oh, I don't know, Joe. Maybe because we are a goddamn gaming channel and not a cooking channel? What reason would we have to bring that up before now anyway?
The cookbook actually came out around the same time we started this series, so it's fairly new. Most of the references in the book are towards Inquisition, with a few referencing Varric and Alistair, so it's just never really come up till now. I don't really know how much of the cookbook is canon as well, but it's fun to talk about considering for the first time in Dragon Age, we are exploring the whole world, not just one area of Thetis.
Bro found out it wasn't about the war at all. He does it for the love of the game. Didn't you say you had a nitpick about these guys, Barry?
Damn it, Joe, you had to remind him about the yaps.
Oh, right, I did. So the Bull's Chargers in the Codex is listed as a mercenary group of about less than 50 people. And Bull even says this isn't all the men and that the others ran off somewhere. However, in both the expanded lore and the next 2 in-game appearances, the Bull's Chargers are seen as just these 6 guys, which is going to make a lot less sense during his companion quest, where if Bull had more than these 6, he should have led with those during the Stormcoast operation. It just seems like the squad was made relatively small for dramatic purposes.
I imagine that must have been a game constraint to save up assets for console players during the cutscene, rather than this being all of them.
Now everyone shut up. It's time for the song.
Beat the Chargers, 'cause we'll hit you where it hurts. Unless you know what's happened with the cards and looser skirts. For every bloody battlefield will gladly raise a cup. No matter what tomorrow holds, our horns be pointing up.
Thanks for coming.
I like these guys. They get a theme song and everything. Just a big jolly band of goofballs.
Hearing this song also contributes to the Patron of the Arts collection quest, although unlike others, we don't hear this one from the Skyhold Bard. Anyways, let's hear a little bit more from Creme, since he is the only Charger we can freely talk to.
Bro might be certain of his gender, but I don't think they understand the concept of chairs quite yet. Either that, or they are really sensitive about their height and want to look taller.
At least this one could be explained that he just had too much to drink and is currently vibing out and forgetting how chairs work.
So Iron Bull saved Creme's life. How did that happen?
I know about that. Basically, Creme was hunted by Tevener officers when he deserted the army, and when Creme was confronted by them, Iron Bull stepped in and took a flail to the eye that was meant for Creme. After the fight, Bull offered Creme a job, and he's been with the company ever since.
To work for a Qunari?
He hasn't tried to convert us to the Qunari, if that's what you're asking. The Bull's Chargers don't care who you light a candle for, so long as your shield stays up. If he hadn't told me he was Ben Hasroth, I'd have thought he'd left that life behind.
It certainly explains why Creme is loyal enough to Bull, that he is one of the only ones that knows he is a Ben Hasroth agent and still works with him. Considering the Qunari reputation, that's got to be a tough sell.
Eyes to eye, he says. It's never messed up a job. He just writes letters back home. Lots of the boys write letters back home.
Oh boy, more Blackwall content now. I am really surprised, Donald.
I know some of the companions have unique dialogue before the Warden main quest, and I figured I would show it since all of you get bricked up for unique content anyway.
Oh right, I forgot to do some rounds after the Western approach, my bad. I got too distracted by the post-game wrap-up. Let's call it.
You got distracted by gooning. Just admit it, Barry.
Worst, we'll find a nightmare, then die painfully. I still can't believe what they're doing. I thought I understood the order.
And speaking of goon caves, I know Cullen has some Adamant fortress lines too, but looks like he is leering at that bright blue dream pack first. Can't say I blame him. I am jonesing for a holy smite myself.
I know we joke about the drinking competition and stuff like that, but this quest being about withdrawal symptoms and addictions seems pretty real and down to earth, doesn't it? Especially for a Dragon Age game where we are usually dealing with fantasy issues like blood magic, demons, and daddy issues.
I mean, lyrium addiction was always an identified issue concerning Templars. Alistair brings it up in Origins, and we see Carol being lyrium-addled during the Circle Tower quest. Cullen is just the first time we see the impacts of withdrawal firsthand. As for the writing being more down to earth, well, I looked it up, and Cullen's writer Brienne in Inquisition was the same writer as Knave Gallus and Veilguard, both very personal stories and more down to earth. It makes a bit more sense as to where the direction of the story went with that in mind.
The fact Cullen is always a based military Templar bro despite having 3 different writers is an insane, chaotic writing feat. Love it when a plan comes together. Anyway, this is the first part of Cullen's quest, which we will probably tackle passively during my episodes, since all it involves is talking to him a few times.
I kind of vibe with that idea, at least for the advisors. They aren't companions that we bring everywhere, so it's easier to forget to keep up with them for some players. Making this quest more casual was a good idea, but if every companion quest was like this, it would be very underwhelming.
Well, trusting Mommy Cassandra with your discipline and lyrium use was a smart idea. Cullen and we have no reason to go against our mommy. Our second-in-command's opinion, so we will follow her findings for now and get back to you.
I guess Cullen still considers Cassandra his superior officer, since she was the one who recruited him to the Inquisition in the first place. I doubt being the Inquisitor's waifu is going to do anything to beat those allegations either. Anyways, I came here not to talk about drug addiction, but to hear our Templar General's opinion on the upcoming assault, so lay it on me.
We must stand where others fall.
Damn first Blackwall. Now my main man, Dorian. Do you think it's one of our birthdays or something, Donald, or are you just that into the content?
Chill out and hop off. I was just checking to see if anyone else had any unique dialogue options, and then suddenly I got warped into this conversation with the fake Magister.
Looks like he's ready to talk to us about Felix. I do wonder what happens if we didn't capture his dad during the Redcliffe quest, but I imagine it's not much better.
No, unfortunately, either way. Felix winds up dead. If we sided with the mages, his dad is no longer around to treat his condition, and he quickly succumbs to his illness and dies. And since we sided with the Templars, it's implied the Venatori found out he was our other man on the inside and executed him.
Well, he died betraying the Robe Empire. That's always a based move, and slight upside, he at least died for what he believed in instead of dying of illness in his bed. That would be how I would want to go too. I wonder what happened to his lying snake of a dad, though.
With his son executed, he probably either got smoked with him, not allowing that to happen, died trying to evacuate the mages out of Redcliffe when Alistair attacked, or he is just chilling back in Tevinter doing paperwork for Corypheus now or something.
Dorian does mention that Alexius is killed eventually, probably to make room for Calpurnia's position as leader, but it's a one-off comment, nothing more.
All right, I know Dorian is offended by me asking if he smashed Felix, but after Anders in Dragon Age 2, I really thought that was a genuine question to ask.
It might be a valid question to ask, but Dorian is also justified in his outrage at the stereotype too.
Only other ounce of praise I will give this guy is he sometimes likes the renegade options.
Well, this was Dorian's warm conversation, which means if he was that high of approval despite being the last one recruited, then everyone should be at least warm by this point, except for maybe Sarah, since we don't bring her along anywhere.
Thankfully, Felix wasn't the only decent sort kicking around Thedas.
It's a good sign then that we are on the right track to get everyone's unique conversations.
Next episode, I will have to give Sarah some companion appreciation finally, since I know Donald won't do it, and we just got lucky with him talking to Blackwall and Dorian.
Yeah, because neither of them are British or an elf. That combination is too much for even a man of the people like myself. Speaking of elves, looks like Dorian wants to know about the Dalish. Maybe I found an ally in my Dalish slaughter operations.
I doubt it. Dorian is very anti-genocide, no matter the race. He just assumes the Dalish have beef with Tevinter, considering they are an elven organization, and he is from a country that enslaves elves.
What with ancient magisters running about? Not at all.
Damn talking to Solas even. Who are you, and what have you done with Donald?
God damn it, I just want to exhaust all of the Adamant Fortress dialogue to build up some main quest hype for this episode. Once we clear this conversation, I am done with him. I'm not asking anything else.
Okay, Sundar, President. Speaking of this conversation, though, I honestly dislike the dialogue options here. If we don't romance him, don't get me wrong, the Wardens deserve some hate for their choices here. But Solas's hate for the Wardens going beyond this decision is honestly so goddamn exhausting. Plus, the dialogue options being bashing the Wardens' way of life or saying it was a good idea they had was totally brain dead.
I'm just going to agree the Wardens took it too far and move on. I am tired of the eggs bullshit. Now let's move on to a far better robe. Thank you for noticing my superior design choices, my dear lady. I always strive for excellence, and a superior noble like yourself inspires my choices too.
The glaze is absolutely unreal. I can't tell who is more fake and full of themselves here, Vivienne or Donald himself.
That's for the philosophers to decide. We won't get a straight answer out of Donald himself. This conversation does give us a window into what Vivienne prioritizes as a leader. It's not about doing what's right, or having reliable people, or even knowing the most. It's all about how what you do impacts how people view you. She cares about presentation and authority first and foremost, as she views it as the most beneficial way to go through life. It's why even with negative approval, Vivienne is cordial with the Inquisitor on the surface, since she still wants to pretend she is in good relations with the figurehead of the Inquisition.
It's called diplomacy, and just like me, she is the absolute best at it. Look at her, she even wants to make the Inquisitor a true man of the people that both the rich and poor admire and envy.
All right, even if I dislike her, I can't lie. Her political expertise is why I am bringing her to the Winter Palace for the other main quest. It just feels like she fits right at home among nobility, better than any other squad mate.
Actually, a semi-based choice from you, Sleepy, although I doubt your other two choices will be nearly as inspired.
Just make sure you bring Mommy Cassandra too, Joe, so we can dance with her. Also, that's a pretty spicy choice you just selected, Donald.
I just did it because it was a star and it gives more royal robe approval. Why is it spicy?
Because that dialogue choice actually gives Vivienne 5 more points towards the divine election automatically.
You son of a bitch!
Ha! I didn't even know that, but that's hilarious. Suck it, Joe, and an extra suck it to the basic bard.
Barry, what's the score looking like for the divine choice?
Well, I'll have to fully calculate it after this episode when Donald makes his choice on the Grey Wardens, but because we made the Inquisition for the faithful for that Cassandra approval and recruited the Templars, Cassandra is currently in the lead by 10 points, while Vivienne and Leliana have 1 point each. I am afraid we are going to have to shut down Cassandra hard when the topic comes up and heavily focus on either Vivienne or Leliana, so I don't get cucked by my romance choice.
Yeah, neither of us wants that to happen, so Joe, it's time to focus on the Royal Robe's throne. It's not Cassandra, and it is the easiest one for us to all agree on.
Hell no, I am not giving up on my beautiful bard. I know exactly how to get her elected. We just have to glaze her when the time comes. I have the power of love and music on my side. That is all I need to get my girl in office.
Yeah, sure, buddy. This is going to be an easy sweep. Don't even bother helping him, Obama. Anyway, since we haven't talked to the Royal Robe in a while, I figure we should hear her out on her circle opinions. Maybe it might sway you, too, that she is the best option for Thetis as fantasy pope.
I guess her thoughts on the circle are pretty relevant to what we were talking about with the novel Asunder last episode, since we are still exploring Adamant this episode, and we likely have Cole's companion quest next episode.
Goddamn Asunder really carries like a quarter of the plots in Inquisition, doesn't it?
You're joking. But it basically does. The other quarter is carried by the Masked Empire novel. And then finally, the other 2 quarters are divided by the Legacy DLC and Elven lore, respectively. Anyways, Vivienne here, believing that the votes put mages against mages, sounds really bad on paper. However, in actuality, this only happened because she, as the leader of the Loyalists, told them to ignore the vote and stick with her. If the vote went her way and they didn't have majority agreeing to rebel, I highly doubt Fiona would have started the rebellion.
This is probably topical, but she is really underselling what the majority vote means by calling it a thin margin. Most mages wanted to leave the circle. Shouldn't that tell you something?
That's definitely too topical, and as politicians, we have all experienced it. However, the Royal Robe's point was that the robes are divided on what to do, and it was a vote that was taken too rashly. The circle should have gotten its shit together first before deciding to randomly rebel without any plan. They left so damn quickly that it divided the Chantry and the Templars too.
And it all started because one mage made a piss bomb, despite Hawke begging him all game to peacefully protest.
Sometimes you just have to act, Nerd Bomber. It's not about what's safe. It's about what gets your message heard. But soon you will all learn that.
Yo, what does that mean, Justice?
Bro, calm down. Seriously, you're being way too sus now.
Donald, do you and Justice have plans for a second piss bomb or something?
First of all, no, I don't. And second of all, even if I did, I wouldn't be the one going into the mines to grab the piss bombs. We don't just sit here and plot stuff together. Calm down, Joe. You're beginning to sound as paranoid as Obama was last episode. Let's just keep focusing on the royal robe.
All right, whatever, Donald. Keep your secrets, I guess. Anyways, did the Kirkwall piss bomb literally kill hundreds of people? I know there was debris that hit Hightown, but it was nighttime. It didn't look like there was more than 20 or so people in the chantry at the time.
She is probably referring to the rite of annulment being carried out as a response. However, Kirkwall's population was believed to be well over 500,000, with possibly so much as 1 million people living in the city or outside its walls during the Fifth Blight, so the amount of people caught in that blast could have been hundreds, although that would mean it was one hell of a bomb.
There's no way in hell Kirkwall's population is the same size as Atlanta, but it has exactly 2 bars and 1 brothel in the entire city.
I think what also minimizes the number of people killed by the bomb is the fact that both Meredith and Sebastian just hardcore focus on Elthina dying at the time and not the possibly hundreds of other victims.
Damn, I guess I even got you 2 liberals to admit that Kirkwall needed a goddamn crusade after what the healer robe did.
Anders maybe needed a crusade, but all of those innocent mages, especially the ones that surrendered in Meredith, wanted to run through anyway. Hell, if we just downed Anders and Orsino, I think we would have been good, and we all could have gone out for burgers after.
What kind of kumbaya friendship ending do you want for Dragon Age 2, Sleepy? That shit would have been so boring instead of the base slaughter simulator we got.
Yes, something war crimes aren't crimes when they happen to mages, end quote. My personal favorite. Anyways, I guess let's hear Vivienne's thoughts on a dead woman to wrap up this conversation, shall we?
Are you familiar with Grand Enchanter Fiona?
We've met. Before her horrendous
Dottage? How old was Fiona in comparison to Vivienne?
Fiona was 20-something in 910 Dragon, so mid-50s, maybe early 60s. If we are really pushing it by the time of Inquisition. Vivienne is believed to be 41, as she is likely the same age as Varric and Blackwall, as the oldest members of the squad. However, she uses magic and skincare to make herself look far younger. So yeah, she really has no basis to call Fiona old. She's just mean.
Space. If there's nothing valuable here, I say let Corypheus have it.
I figured before the Warden content, we can get down to some base Dwarven content in the Wastes. Show everyone I can do just as much work, if not more than all of you can.
I appreciate the effort, Donald, but if even my girl Harding is nervous about exploring this place, we should be far more cautious, considering this girl explores battlefields in the Fade like it's nothing. Plus, doesn't this place cost 20 power to unlock?
Sleepy, I appreciate you wanting to not contribute to wasteful spending for once in your life, but last I checked, we have like 100 power and almost half of the map unlocked. I doubt we have to worry about saving power for anything.
It's true, Joe, it's not that big a deal. Power-wise, you only need 120 power to unlock everything, which I am almost certain we have already reached. And if we haven't, we just need to close like 4 more Fade Rifts to reach it. Also, Donald, looks like you are experiencing the same problem I had last episode, trying to find the shards this deep in the desert.
Yeah, except I actually found them, so it's all good. My biggest problem with this place isn't the size, though, but the eternal darkness plaguing the land.
Exploring the 30 Days of Night Vampire Desert wasn't really on my bingo card for Dragon Age.
Nah, to have vampires there would have to be actual civilization or anything around here.
That is a whole lot of nothing.
Are those lights in the distance? Someone's made a fire.
Let's have a look.
I'm sorry, is that a goddamn pride demon that yeeted out of the first Fade Rift in this area?
Oh, what's the matter, Donald? I thought Inquisition was going to be your game now. Besides, didn't you already kill a pride demon in episode 1? Just do the same thing again.
Not only that, but it's 1 level above us right now, which likely means the Fade Rifts deeper in can be as high as level 19 to 20.
All right, all of you hop off. I was just surprised at the pride demon appearing off the bat when I was just trying to get the drinking competition started in the area. Sure, the Fade Rifts might be a problem, but the rest of the area will even out, right?
The level suggestion for this area is 16 to 19, with the final boss dragon being level 20. We are currently level 15. Honestly, there has been a certain order to these areas since we are playing on Nightmare with Trials on, but now that we have the whole area to explore, it's easier to get sidetracked.
Well, that's whatever, because I like a challenge. I am not like you two. A Fade Rift can't take me down. The only thing that kills Donald Trump is dragons, not demons. Especially with my full mage-hating squad on my side. See, I already killed the first wave, and I can make the second wave easier as always.
All right, I know I might not have much room to speak since I kind of went heavy-handed on the Obama death foreshadowing last episode, Donald. But you know, it's only a matter of time until the Fade Rifts get you too, right? I mean, Dragon Age 2 demons did some pretty crazy things to you, thinking about it.
Now, those deaths were all caused by the Desire Demon. Ussie, you can go back and fact-check me on that. If you don't believe me, now that they don't exist, and I haven't found a mod to add them in, I am safe from all demons. from Pride or Ice Wraiths.
All right, even if the demons can't trip you up though, Donald, I have to ask, how long do you plan on this episode to take? Are you going to 100% the area?
Maybe not 100% it, but at least take on the High Dragon for my daily High Dragon kill. That plus the Iron Bull and Warden main quest I should finish in 2 hours.
If that's the case, you are definitely going to be here a while, clearing all 5 tombs, each guarded by Venatori. And Fade Rifts are going to take you over an hour, given how this first fight alone went. And the Warden mission will also take an hour and a half. So we are easily looking at a 3-hour episode.
Barry, I am not staying up for a goddamn 3-hour episode. I finished my Hinterlands episode with one eye open.
Fuck that. I'm not tackling that either, but then how am I going to get my dragon kill or finish this map?
Well, you could always just mulligan this episode, since not every episode has to end with a dragon kill, especially since we are all tied up at 1 kill with 9 more to go. After this episode, we are going to focus up on some side content to finish the maps and companion quests. So in between the side content, me and Joe can tackle a few errands here and there. Then during your Emprise du Lions episode, you can finish up the Hissing Wastes as well, to fully end the side maps before the final push. Sound good?
Damn, Barry, did you come up with all of that on the fly? Or have you been deep in thought about this for a while? That was just a lot of information to whip out on the fly.
Look, Origins and 2 were more casual on content in terms of time, but Inquisition is a massive beast, as the video lengths have no doubt shown. If I don't try to wrangle everything in, we would either have a 100-episode series or 4-hour episodes regularly. Besides, letting people know what each of us is tackling sometimes builds up a little hype.
All right, fine, Obama. I can play ball if you leave the dragon kill to me at least, but I am going to get my money's worth and finish up the drinking content for the Fade Rifts at least. And on my way, pick up a few more shards for the road as well.
Guess this place wasn't all for nothing. We got a little more experience, and at least one shot we can take this episode. Plus, since we are saving time by scrapping this area, we have more time to tackle some based Iron Bull content.
Speaking of based Iron Bull content, what exactly do we have to do to start that quest? Because I exhausted multiple conversations with Iron Bull, and I already know we are way beyond 35 approval with how many dragons we have killed with him.
Oh, right. In addition to 35 approval and meeting the Chargers, we have to investigate a few more dialogue options from him. We already asked about the Qunari, but we also have to get him to talk about his work with the Ben Hassara.
Kind of a weird trigger, Barry. Any specific reason for that?
Well, the person we meet is a veteran from Seheron who served along Bull. But the main reason is likely just a callback to how Origin's companion quest started, like needing Leliana to talk about why she left Orlais, or having Zevran talk about all his old adventures first. It's just how BioWare works, I suppose.
Those were always kind of annoying when you're playing casually, but I guess when we are doing a series where we plan content, it makes things a little easier. Anyways, viewers, that calls it for one of the Rift quests in the Wastes. So take another shot, viewers, and let's move on to Iron fucking Bull.
I can't understand how those women in the kitchen can be awake so early after the night we had.
Oh, damn. Iron Bull is really over here, just banging everyone with a pulse in Skyhold. I'm surprised he hasn't party-wiped half the squad in the bedroom at this point.
I mean, his only options as a male in our inner circle are Dorian, Cass, and Josie, not including himself. Dorian, he will hook up with, but Cass and Josie prefer a more romantic relationship, unlike Bull.
So, like, aren't secret police and re-educators normally the same thing? Like, the secret police identify treason and then stamp it out with, like, torture, right?
I mean, if the Qunari are just beating the shit out of traitors and torturing them like the Spanish Inquisition, then yeah, a random fantasy police officer can handle that, but the Qunari rarely kill what they still can use, and they want the offender to be a functional member of the society again. The way Bull describes the re-educating is more cerebral with the use of sleep deprivation and poultices than physical torture, which likely requires someone who has a better understanding of human nature and alchemy, while the secret police are just soldiers.
All right, thank you. That makes a little more sense. I kind of forgot the Qunari give way more chances than most people, unless you're the Arishock, I guess.
I think in the R-Shock's case, it's because Bro was literally in charge, and he should have known better.
Here and there, and your whole outlook changes. I always felt a little weird reading after that conversation.
That book analogy is always kind of frightening to me because the brain isn't that simple, but it is sometimes that simple to change a memory to get what you need at the cost of the rest of your head.
So Seheron is also where Fenris ran away from Daenerys before he killed the Fog Warrior friends he made, right, Obama?
Yeah, that's right. Both Sten and Fenris are also believed to be born in Seheron, which combined with Iron Bull being stationed there, means we have had squad mates associated with that island in every game, except Veilguard.
And yet none of them are fog warriors, or can give us a good description about what fog warriors really do, besides like fog magic mixed with probably blood magic.
So we have the Robe Empire, horned communists, traitor horned communists, and demon tribal fog people from a Stephen King novel. This place just sounds like the worst place on Earth. I'd rather just live in Kirkwall during Act 2 at this point. That's somehow safer than this place.
Seheron might win the award for the most dangerous place outside of like the deep roads to live in. Too bad, since it's actually a pretty beautiful tropical location. Also, the fog warriors aren't blood mages. Iron Bull believes they create the fog and manipulate the weather through advanced alchemy, since he didn't see any spells being cast, which means they are most likely like Tempests or any rogue in Veilguard, using alchemy to fake magic.
I guess whatever re-education they did on Iron Bull was on the light side, because he still loves drinking, gooning, and banging.
Actually, now that I think about it, does he do all that stuff as a coping mechanism? Because he literally survived the Dragon Age equivalent of Vietnam.
Actually, yes, that explains Iron Bull's character perfectly. He is someone who hangs on to the friendships and good times he has with the Chargers, and maybe the Inquisitor, because the good times he has with them helps him forget about all the shit he has done with the Qunari and what they will make him do in the future. Really good catch there, Donald.
Oh, great, I'm dominating Inquisition so hard, I am becoming a theory nerd along with you two. By the time we kill Corypheus, I am going to look at myself in the mirror and hardly recognize myself.
Then you'll be the one with PTSD and forced to make a racially diverse mercenary gang. Speaking of, it's time to go help Iron Bull with his Qunari quest, and the whole squad is coming along this time to help.
What did the letter say?
The Ben Hassrath have been reading my reports. They don't like Corypheus or his Venatori. And they really don't like Red Lyrium. They're ready to work with us. With you, boss.
The Qunari offering to help us here would be amazing if we didn't already know from Sten, Talus, and the Arishok that they absolutely hate our way of life and won't see common ground after our common enemy is beaten down.
I am all for big back support, but when it comes from communists, it better be a big, beautiful deal for the Inquisition, or it might as well be written on toilet paper.
Iron Bull likes us being hesitant too. You gotta appreciate someone who isn't bending over backwards for his group of people and is giving it to us straight.
We are once again going back to the beach to harass some tea vendors, my favorite.
Always wanted to see one of those big warships in action.
Also, damn Bull really just vibe-checked Creme like that.
Did you see that? Go get some water.
Just like Creme, make sure you hydrate, viewers, especially if you have us on in the background at work or something.
Thanks for the random reminder, but are you trying to change your name from Nerd Bomba to Mom Bomba now?
No, it's just hydration. As well as situational awareness is very important, as we will no doubt learn in this quest here.
Hydration is important, but more important than that is the Big Back Military Alliance. The Qunari are offering to plow Corypheus down.
Oh, please, the Qunari help is more war table quests at best. And we all know what eventually happens with this so-called alliance down the line by the time of Trespasser.
I went with the Qunari during my first playthrough, since Big Dreadnought sounded too cool to pass up. But then when I never saw their help again in the actual gameplay, I just kind of gave up on that save.
Admittedly, this is a really generous offer that we should hear out. But if even Iron Bull is hesitant about what this could lead to, then we should already have some red flags, even if we didn't have prior experience with the Qunari. Considering both we, the players, and Bull have experience with the Qunari, though, we know this deal is going to come out with the Qunari getting more intel for their grand invasion plan.
This is just us joining forces against Corypheus. On that front, I think we're good.
And yet y'all are mad at me for clowning the big ball of anxiety when he isn't putting a stop to this nonsense. Well, I am the master of deals, and I am ready to close out Iron Bull's questline, so let's finish this, shall we, boys? It's time to go back to the beach.
I mean, of course, the Ben Hassrath agent is an elf that's pretty normal, but do you think we could give him some daggers and a red wig while I sing this tune?
Sleepy, stop trying to femboy up the commie agent. We are here for business, not pleasure, and I am not letting this elf give me the workaround.
So Gat's story, much like, well, a lot of elves in the Dragon Age world, is that he was a slave from Tevinter who was freed and became an assassin and/or soldier with a strong moral crusade against slavery.
No way, something that hyper-specific is a trope, Barry.
Joe, I really wouldn't test that with Lorebama here.
All right, don't believe me, Joe? Well, here's the list, including Gat, who is clearly an assassin. We have Fenris, Talus, and Miriam from Dragon Age Absolution, all of them freed elven slaves. And the only difference is Fenris is more of a soldier and bodyguard than assassin.
All right, he really did come with the receipts. I didn't know my cutie Talus was a stereotype. It's a good thing those hips make me forget all about that. I'm sorry, I know Dorian's lines are important, but did Solas just T-pose here?
It was probably a T-pose in protest. He hates being here as much as Dorian, if not more, as we are going to find out shortly.
I was 8. The Qun isn't perfect, but it gave me a better life. Yes,
One free from all that pointless free will and independent thought. Such an improvement.
Varric, please get your boyfriend under control before his pissing contest with the elf causes me to side with a communist. I may hate the Reds, but it's far better than being a robe. At least they lift and slam dunk the mages.
I appreciate companions having objections here. They usually only do that during major decisions like recruiting the Templars or banishing the Wardens. It would be nice if they can voice their concerns more.
The Qunari are so controversial that all of the companions started forming as many opinions as they did in Origins. Just say both countries don't have a leg to stand on. It doesn't earn any disapproval or approval, and it immediately checks Dorian's complaints.
Way ahead of you, Obama. I am an equal opportunity ass chewer here. I just need Dorian to keep it to himself. More Origins reference or no? So we just have to kill some robes who are hoarding red lyrium so that a dreadnought can get through and destroy them? Seems like easy money to me, boys.
Crap to go wrong. If our scouts underestimate enemy numbers, we're dead. If we can't lock down the Venatori mages, the ship is dead. It's risky.
Riskier than letting red lyrium
It's
into
easy
Minrathos?
money, except for all the ways it can go wrong, since we apparently have no idea how many mages or soldiers are going to be here, just that there will be men here, and they may or may not be a problem.
So I get why we can't use a large Inquisition force since the smugglers would just run away. But we do have the Blades of Seheron, who have a fortress and assassins nearby who can be stealthy. Why the hell can't we use them for extra muscle here?
Just like the Normandy, we can never use the army we have been building when we really needed it. I mean, bare minimum, at least we get the Bulls Chargers here to give us backup fire. But if we had some Inquisition scouts or the Blades or even just some agents we recruited to make this mission go better, it would have been far more peak.
Yeah, but then this quest wouldn't be dramatic enough, and that's really what we are going for here, right? I mean, we even have to debrief the Chargers here and meet them beforehand before this quest starts.
Let's go hold up our end of the bargain, man. My agent suggested 2 possible locations the Venatori may be camped to guard the shore. There and there. We'll need to split up and hit both at once.
I'll come with you, boss. Creme can lead the charges. Let me fill him in. Come by when you're
All right,
ready.
Bull, it's time to see how well you can give a Shepherd-level speech to your boys here.
So, Donald, I am a little surprised by your team selection. You brought both Solas and Dorian with you. Not only are those 2 non-Vivian mages, but besides Sarah, those are the squad mates you beef with the most.
Look, I may dislike both of them, but I am a drama-loving bastard as much as the next Dragon Age fan, and I know both of them have unique beef with Gat here. Besides, that way, we can just show the yaps instead of having Obama talk about them.
The presidents yearn for a game that has audio logs so they can ignore me and have all of their lore and unique interactions beamed right into their brain instead. I just can't prove it yet.
Only sometimes, Barry, the mix of the game and your yaps is probably a good medium seasoning for everyone. Also, I am glad there's only slight red death flags going on here, instead of major ones.
Yeah, no one here is wearing a bright red shirt or is talking about how they can't wait to retire with their pregnant wife tomorrow. Anyways, Bull, once you're done with your mixed-race adoptive mercenary family, I am eager to kill some mages.
Right. Chargers, hit them hard and hit them fast. When this is over, drinks are on me.
You got it, Chief. Charges, double time. Let's move.
You gave your charges the easier target.
You think?
Lower and farther from the smuggler's ship, it's much less likely to be heavily defended.
Suppose we'll do the heavy lifting then.
Just like Donald Iron Bull really is a tsundere, trying to look after his guys in secret while pretending he gave them a tough job.
Well, here's the first robe camp, and oh, god damn it. Level 11 again. Are you goddamn kidding me? This quest is really the same level as Cassandra's when she is the first one we recruited in the first companion quest we can tackle.
I did say that just like Cassandra's and Solas's quest, they can be tackled at any point after coming to Skyhold, which means it's leveled just in case you do tackle it early. We can set the even grounds trial so that all enemies will automatically be at the Inquisitor's level if we want.
No, we don't want that. We would rather just see the original levels, so we have more to talk about and complain about. Barry, it's all for content anyway.
I guess there's something to be said about that. Content is king. Besides, it's not like the level 11 Venatori aren't keeping Donald pressed as is. Solas and Iron Bull just got folded by one shield dude.
Hop off, you all get folded by mages and demons. I get folded by the infinitely stronger shield enemies that just so happen to be promoted. We are not the same. Besides, I have 2 robes who can each cast revive on anyone I need revived. I can just sit back and shoot these assholes till they all die.
I guess that's good. You've adopted the double mage strategy for this mission. Double D, since as soon as Dorian revived Solas and Iron Bull, he went down. So you can just loop that spell together until you win.
Well, I guess while we are killing the camps of Venatori, we can talk a bit more about some of Gat's lore. We could have asked him a few more questions while Iron Bull was giving that speech to his men to find out that just like Fenris, his master was a magister who brought him to Seheron. However, his master was attacked and killed by Iron Bull's company, where Iron Bull rescued him and turned him into the Qunari. He nicknamed him Gat, since it's short for Gatlock, since he used to be so explosive, wanting nothing more than revenge against Tevinter.
So bro really is just Fenris if he got converted by the Qunari instead of the Fog Warriors.
Don't sell the D1 mage hater short like that. Fenris would turn this guy inside out in an instant while he is just a simple elf assassin.
We talked about this a lot in Dragon Age 2. But human society has failed elves so much that just offering them a society that gives them a spot at the table and a sliver of equality is incredibly appealing to people like Gat and Talus.
Well, whatever puts the bread on the table, I guess. Speaking of Gat, where the hell did he go? I think he wandered off during combat.
He didn't wander off, he got straight up killed because of this one shield asshole having as much health as the Ferald and Frostback. Does that mean we failed the quest?
This playthrough is really teaching me new interactions about this game, most of which are completely not flattering. If we failed the quest, then the game over screen would have played. I think what's going to happen is he is going to respawn at the end of the fight, or his model is permanently despawned. We won't know, though, until we finally take this guy down.
If I know my mage combos, shattering him a couple more times in the ice should do the trick. Massive health pool or no.
I swear to God, just once I'd like an empowered enemy on our side. Whatever, though, this asshole is dead and we can finally move on. Hopefully Camp 2 doesn't have a Terminator guarding it this time.
Well, I don't see Gat spawning back in now, which is slightly concerning for this run, but the ultimate test for if he is here or not is what happens next here.
Solas just started talking to himself.
Oh great, the egg is hearing voices now too.
All right, it's option B, Donald. Our only option is to reload a save before this fight here. Otherwise, this quest is going to get very weird.
Fine, but only for the viewers, and I am not doing this fight over. King Crimson!
Tattoos, but you're carrying a staff. Are you from a Chantry circle?
No, and I would prefer not to discuss it.
Have I done something to offend you?
You joined the Qun?
After they rescued me from slavery.
And put you into something worse? A slave may always struggle for freedom, but you among the Qun have been taught not to think.
Solas, not the time.
Well, viewers, hopefully that explains why Solas was T-posing in protest at the start of the mission. He essentially hates the Quan more than he hates Tevinter, although the only reason I can find as to why that is just because he views the Quan as something worse than slavery.
To be fair, they do bind and torture mages for being mages and re-educate free thinkers. They also call all spirits, even cold demons, although I think everyone does that. The Qunari are pretty much against everything Solas stands for, as we are about to find out in Trespasser.
Honestly, that just reaffirms that if we ever had to choose a side, I would go with the communists all the way over the Robe Empire, and whatever the hell kind of elfin fade freedom the egg is pushing for. If Tevinter is in charge, I would be a slave to mages, which is worse than having a job and free Qunariacy. And if the egg is in charge, he is literally going to kill everyone in the world.
I would rather Dorian become in charge of Tevinter and work with Briala or Selene, Balin, and Alistair to form a united human, elf, and dwarf nation that can stand united against world-ending threats and the damn theocratic military that is the Qunari.
Sure, Barry and I would like every woman in the world to look and sing like Liliana, and for ice cream to flow through the Delaware River.
Yeah, what's next? You want the Tooth Fairy and Queen of England to be real too? Also, I know the levels earlier were weird, but these levels are downright Lord of Chaos levels. We have a level 7, a level 11, and the goddamn mage boss for some reason is level 16, which is higher than us. Make it make sense, boys?
I believe since that mage is the boss fight for this quest, they gave him a level that is 1.5 times our own level. Well, once we finish the Venatori here, we can loot the chest for Iron Bull's unique helmet dread, which is the perfect item for him since he can't wear other helmets. And now we have a little choice to make here.
I wouldn't really call this much of a choice. You already know what I am about, and some of the viewers already predicted what I am about too. We already debated the cost benefits of this choice. Why don't we instead debate how goddamn forced this whole problem is in the first place?
Like the fact we could just go down our goddamn selves to fight the Venatori, instead of standing here, especially since we have an Archer Inquisitor and 2 mages. Or we could have had a third party of stealth units from either the Blades or Liliana's scouts to help us out here and flank them.
Or we could have had all of the Bull's Chargers on duty for this mission, instead of the 6 men we met at the tavern. I mean, there's what, 12 Venatori there. If we had at least 20 Chargers instead of 6, we would be on perfectly even if not better ground.
They've still got time to fall back if you signal them now.
Yeah.
Your men need to hold that position, Bull.
They do that. They're dead.
And if they don't, the Venatori retake it and the Dreadnought is dead. You'd be throwing away an alliance between the Inquisition and the Qunari. You'd be declaring yourself Talvashoth.
We really took that rule of small squads of 5 and 5 to heart, maybe because Gat has OCD and he needed a nice even number. Anyways, if it isn't obvious yet, I am not sacrificing actual loyal men that are a bunch of base brothers in arms for the possibility of the communists calling me a good boy and giving us some spy intel.
The biggest in-game cost of siding with the Qunari is that we lose out on several war table quests, which earn us the Masterwork Archon staff schematic, a powerful Tier 3 staff that is shaped like Malcolm's honor from Dragon Age 2. However, siding with the Qunari has Bull lose his entire company, which are also his friends, and more importantly, lose the one thing that tethered him as Iron Bull and not just a Hizrad, for the Qunari. If he does lose the Chargers, while he may not show it, he becomes numb to the world almost as if the re-education kicks in, and he will turn to the Qunari fully, which has some really bad consequences we can get into during Trespasser.
Say his new name, bitch. It isn't Hizrad anymore.
His name is Iron Bull.
Consider the Inquisition and Chargers your family now, Bull. We may not have free Qunari, but we have servant girls and dragons to kill. Plus we have cookies. A former reference says you are going to like cookies.
No way they'll get out of range. Won't be long now.
Bull, when the Dreadnought sinks.
Sinks? Qunari Dreadnoughts don't sink. Come on, let's get back to my boys.
Say what you will about the Qunari, but they are very official with their rejection letters. They send their own guys out to tell us in person and everything.
Oh, they send their own guys out, all right? We're about to find out the full scope of that in a minute.
So we started this quest by having Bull and his Chargers and some Qunari contacts. Now we have ended this quest with Bull and his Chargers and no Qunari contacts. I'm glad we didn't lose the Chargers, but it feels like we came out of this quest net negative.
It's too bad approval doesn't give any perks or stat increases like in every other Dragon Age game. At least we got some trial rewards, the Dread Helmet and massive Iron Bull approval, so we aren't completely in the negative here. Otherwise, I would agree with you. We came out of this quest like a sucker.
Having a loyal squad and massive Iron Bull approval is never the wrong call, boys. I wasn't going to sacrifice anything for the Horned Communists, and I didn't need to. Besides, we got a level up from it, and we ranked up our influence, so we get another perk, which means we can get the last dialogue perk in Nobility Knowledge.
Chief's even breaking open a cask of chasing sackmead for the
Oh, hey, Chaz and Sackmead. That's the third Ogren gift reference we have gotten in Inquisition, and the second one made by the Chargers alone.
Sorry, Chief.
Well, at least Creme finally learned to shield bash correctly. We have one last Iron Bull conversation to finish before we wrap up here, though.
You wanted to see me?
Oh, damn, these guys must be Talus assassins because every Talus is addicted to throwing murder knives.
The Caesar has marked you for death and the Legion obeys type of assassins.
Looks like this guy brought a dagger to an axe fight. Get wrecked. Anyway, translate Obama.
I won't translate that. Iron Bull is about to do that himself. Just be patient.
My soul's dust. Yours is scattered all over the ground, though, so...
So is it common for the Qunari to send assassins anytime someone becomes Tel Vashoth? Because those Beach Qunari in Dragon Age 2 thought we were Ben Hasserith assassins, and now Bull assumed assassins would come after him as well.
I imagine it has to be common practice, but realistically, the Qunari can't always get around to sending assassins every time. In Iron Bull's case, he is not only Tal Vashoth, but he is working for a new and powerful organization, and has been feeding Qunari information to said organization. The fact they don't send more assassins to Skyhold must mean they are spread too thin to do so.
Sounds like a communist skill issue to me. Also, are we going to just ignore the fact that not only Iron Bull tanked a cutscene murder knife, but a poisoned murder knife at that by overdosing on antidote for the last hour? That's got to be a top 10 durability feat in Dragon Age.
Every Origins NPC is looking down at this scene, wondering how the hell Bull didn't die here. That doesn't even cover all the Origins NPCs that got killed by off-screen hockey like Tryon.
If we had let the Bull's Chargers die this scene, here would be a lot more somber. Iron Bull would have the ashes of every Charger and spread them across Skyhold, giving a few Qunari prayers for the dead. He laments that he is no longer Iron Bull without the Chargers, and that despite living away from Paravolin for so long, he is still Qunari, and he is ready to serve the Inquisition as an agent for the Qunari. He doesn't directly say it, but it's clear whoever he was when we met him has changed. And now the only part of him he holds on to is the Qunari and the re-education.
AKA the bad ending, because Iron Bull is perfect as is, we don't need him to change at all. It just sucks that telling him you're still you is a flirting option when it really should just mean we like him platonically for who he is.
Inquisition dialogue options being on demon time hours really always comes back to bite us in the ass. Even asking for a walk is flirting.
All right, with our base bro at our back now, it's time to take the Wardens and that bitch Aramon and dunk them all in the toilet until they stop doing blood magic and shit.
Before that, though, we want to show this peak scene of male bonding between Varric and Hawke. Quite literally the only show of the bromance between the two we get in this game, since Hawke will disappear from existence after the Warden quest to go help the Wardens for some reason.
Plenty of blood mages and crazy Templars. Just like home.
I know how much you hated leaving Kirkwall.
This is the ass end of Thedas. You know they eat snails here? Still, I think I need to finish this out. If it weren't for me and Bartrand, none of this would have happened. So much for changing our lives.
That's what happens when you try to change things. Things change. You can't always control how.
Well, I am going to bring Varric along for one last bro mission together, and here's the proof I picked up the nobility perk, so now the viewers know we have every dialogue perk unlocked. I'm guessing while we are at the war table, you want to do a few missions, Nerd Bomba?
That's the plan, Donald. You want to go first this time. It's a Templar quest.
All right, sure. Apparently there's Templars who didn't join the Lord Seeker and just stayed in the towers practicing their holy smites and curbing local mages. We could always use more big backs. So I am going to send Cullen and some base Templars to convince them we can kill more robes together than apart.
All right, I will go next. And we haven't done many war table missions on the Orlesian side, so let's tackle some, shall we? Looks like the Venatori have been sending patrols around the borders of Navarra and Tevinter, trying to cause both of their armies to cross borders and start a war. We can only choose Josie here since we need to have a peace talk where the neutral territory is fairly distributed.
Something this intense should have been a side quest we tackle, at least like a Nen 7 mission or something. That's the cost of the war table, I guess. Looks like I will go next, and since I sent the Avar chief to Tevinter myself, I might as well be the one to handle the quest that came from it. Looks like they set up on the edge of the highway and are now just waiting for challengers, but not actively attacking anyone. They are making the mages nervous, so I will have my beautiful bard send them supplies secretly.
Not surprising, the robes are bitching about big backs being in their territory, but looks like them just sparring with each other with the free food we gave them is enough for them to back off. I guess I will go next because the robe bullshit isn't ending just yet. Looks like Dorian knows a magister who wants to declare the Venatori terrorists and make it harder for them and Corypheus to go home to their slaves at night. I'll send our merchant princess to give her the support she needs.
We earned some nice Dorian approval from that quest too. Next up, we have another weird one. This opened up to us after recruiting the Templars. Apparently another noble lost their lives to the Red Templars. And since their safety was Cullen's responsibility, his brother wants to duel Cullen now. We can convince him to back off, but the Inquisition aren't cowards. If you want the smoke, we will bring it. We will let Cullen second duel this guy.
Damn short and simple, and the noble got owned. Not much else to say there. Good work, Barry. I guess we have time for one more war table quest before we get down to business. Looks like the Tevinter problems didn't stop with that Magister vote. She has some noble allies, but she has pissed off some even more powerful Magisters in the process. I will wrap up the war table quests by sending the beautiful bard to take out one of them and keep the rest of them chill. She even got a box of chocolates for her assassination work too.
Now with the very last fluff taken care of, it's time to go deal with the Wardens.
Adamant Fortress has stood against the Darkspawn since the time of the Second Blight.
Fortunately for us, that means it was built before the
Damn
age of modern
700-year-old dwarven walls not holding. Voldrick would have been
major
ashamed at the
damage to
dwarves
this
who built
ancient
that.
wall.
We have base Templars on our side. We should be coding the trebuchets in Holy War and mass spamming holy smites against the walls to end this nonsense quickly.
Bro is going for the shock and awe strategy against a bunch of blighted warriors who have 6 voices in their head. It might work, but we would have to strike at night, so they're more likely to be sundown.
Joe, I keep telling you the voices and confusion you hear are not all from dementia or even the blight. You're just cursed with multiple dudes inside you. Sundowning has nothing to do with it.
There are choke points we can use to limit the field of battle.
That's good. We may not be able
I am sure they are just saying it for stakes, but it is crazy that despite having the full Templar army and thousands of loyal soldiers, that one district of Wardens is giving us a fight that will be so close we can't for certain say we will win.
Defenders always get a natural advantage. It's just what we have to work with. Anyways, Donald, are you planning on bringing your normal team to this quest after Solas's warning?
I mean, our enemies are clearly Warden mages and demons. Mage haters seem appropriate. Maybe I will bring Cassandra too, since she is our waifu, and she deals extra damage to demons, which is all we are really fighting here, but that's it. If the egg wants to help, he can waste his time and budget and come up again personally.
Donald, need I remind you about the Fade probes that spider asshole threatened us with when we were in there, and that mana clash seems to have no impact on this thing.
Plus, we are going into his actual realm this time, so it's even easier to get got.
Don't forget about the unique dialogue that Solas gets during this quest too.
Jesus Christ, just glaze the egg hard, or why don't you? Fine, I can play ball here and use the original 3 for this quest, happy? Now let's go see the Wardens take the biggest L since the Battle of Ostagar.
This whole scene really just makes me want a Dragon Age Total War spin-off because this is the biggest army we have managed since the Battle of Denerim.
Plus 100 aura for the Inquisitor just casually walking out of the dust of the broken gates after the Inquisition soldiers did all of the legwork to get in.
Oh, what, no storm the gates joke to confuse me a third time?
We don't want to get struck out this early with 3 strikes, Donald.
Do those shades have Roman Centurion helmets on? That's kind of cute. The Wardens gave them helmets for the upcoming battle.
I believe the intention was to give these shades a more armored appearance for this quest, but in reality, this is the design for greater shades, and we will find several shades with this model throughout the series, not just here. Definitely a missed opportunity from BioWare, but that was likely a time constraint.
Well armored or greater, we have a Templar specialization in tow, which means we deal bonus racism damage to all demons.
Not to mention, we have 1 or 2 immortal NPCs helping us clear the way through this entire quest, while they may have had a health bar in the Western approach. Here they are more or less fundamentally immortal.
Yeah, until the end, that is.
Yeah, exactly, Justice, until the end of the quest. What is that supposed to mean?
Damn, hop off my sus spirit, bro Joe. He is just stating how the game works. You 3 do it all the time.
All right, whatever, keep your secrets, then it's not that serious, you two. We should really be getting some kind of passive buff having the Ostagar traitor in tow with us fighting Wardens.
There's too much resistance on the walls.
Yeah, speaking about that, I am surprised how quiet you have been about what you get to do during this quest concerning him, Donald.
That's because there's only one clear choice here, and it's to fix some mistakes that have been made in this series for too long.
All right, well, let's not threaten him too early. We still need him around for this section of the quest. At minimum, especially if half of the Wardens are possessed, and the other half are running around like chickens with their heads cut off.
Well, these mages are the first mages we have seen that are not empowered or huffing larger barriers than the national debt. So this should be our first easy fight so far here.
This is one of the only fights where archers shine too, since both you and Varric get extra damage with both height and reach.
You got a little choice here. Now, Donald, are you going to squad wipe these Wardens here or let them go?
Well, the non-mage Wardens are the ones not possessed and are basically seen as sacrificial lambs to their rogue overlords. So I am going to let them go. They ignore me. I ignore them, nice and simple.
Sparing the Wardens here does give us an extra dialogue option when confronting Clairol, and there's really no reason to attack the non-mage Wardens here, who were clearly fighting the demons with us.
My men will stay back. We want no part of this. Deal with Clairol as you must.
That line is rich coming from you, war criminal, but we are just going to move on after I restock. Look sleepy, I found Hawke already. Since it's Joe's Hawke, I have to imagine he just kind of wandered onto the battlefield confused and ran into more demons.
My boy is just casually fighting a pride demon and 3 blood mages by himself. That's just the moves you would expect from the champion of Kirkwall.
We are really seeing a lot of pride demons this episode. I don't even remember pride demons being common for this early on, but I guess we are far into late game, and pride demons are far from being the roadblocks they once were.
Are you going to go on another tirade about how pride demons should be early game still, and that them being late game is ruining everything Nerdbama?
It's not a tirade, it's an opinion. And no, not really. This is already the 3rd pride demon I have seen so far this episode, and I know it won't be the last. I have long since stopped caring. I instead wanted to talk about why the Warden chose the abandoned fortress of Adamant in the first place, by once again drawing tie-ins with Asunder. The reason why the Wardens picked Adamant, besides the obvious dramatic ties to the Second Blight and Abyssal Rift, is because the veil in Adamant is already exceptionally thin here due to the Circle using Adamant as a research site for a century after it was abandoned.
Oh great, of course the Circle robes are secretly responsible for all these pride demons crawling into our world and trying to eat me.
Yeah, I walked right into that one. The Chantry chose this area because of the thin veil and isolated nature of the fortress being in the desert. Studies of the Fade were conducted here, but Divine Victoria ordered a new study here, that being a tranquil cure. An elven tranquil Pheromond was in charge of this study, and it was eventually discovered that not only could tranquils be cured, but they could be possessed too. Pheromond was possessed during the study and killed the rest of the researchers, but was eventually freed from possession by Wynn and her son Reese, with a little help from Shale too, who offered big back support.
That's my girl!
The rest we already learned from Cassandra's quest, because Pheromond was touched by either the demon or Wind Spirit of Faith, he was cured. The Templars reacted harshly and tried to cover it up violently, and since the Circles disbanded, Adamant was left abandoned again. However, word of what was done at Adamant reached the Wardens, namely Clairol, and now with an already thin veil, Ahriman is using this location to pull out a massively powerful demon and bind it to Clairol.
The Wardens might be low IQ, but they apparently have some next-level spy networks to hear rumors that fast. Also, I guess you are going to send Hawke to the ritual entrance instead of the last siege point, Donald.
I don't need help with the last point, I know where it is. And I know there's one more pride demon for me to introduce to the curb. Is there a reward for this optional objective, Obama? Or am I just doing it because it thematically makes sense?
Just like rescuing the Haven citizens, it's an experience, influence, and power buff for clearing all 3 siege points. Power we obviously don't need at this point, but influence and experience is always good to have more of. This 3rd siege point also has an amulet of power for Blackwall and the Shield of the Anointed, a purple shield with very good defensive stats.
I am surprised we didn't bring Blackwall for this quest. If there was ever a companion with unique interactions during Adamant Fortress, it would be him.
Well, then maybe you should have fought to get this quest when we talked about it instead of the French lands meet, because I don't vibe with Beardwall and he can stay in Skyhold for all I care.
Blackwall is odd because in Adamant, he has a lot of unique lines, including 2 special interactions, both when confronting Clairol and during the first siege point where the Warden surrendered and we let them go. However, during the Fade section, he has very little to say, unlike Cassandra and Solas. So we really just picked with the Fade sections in mind.
Just realized that makes me 2 for 2 on Inquisition Fade sections, which puts me past you for Fade sections, cleared Obama. I didn't have that on my bingo card. You're gonna have to grind to catch up to me now. Also, I think this fight is gonna go on forever, since this pride demon is empowered and tanky, but the viewers don't need to see me whittle this guy down anymore. So I am going to King Crimson this bitch, and if I die, you 2 can catch me. King Crimson!
Well, update, Donald didn't die to the giant gorilla pride demon, despite how funny that would have been. And we met back up with Loghein and Hawke to stop a blood magic ritual once again.
Hawke might have very little connection to Wardens, but he heard blood mage ritual and is ready for all the smoke.
I vibe with that theory. When he is taking off shifts, exploring with his elf girlfriend for other elves, he is taking the time to curb stomp blood mage activities like he is Batman for the blood robes.
I mean, seeing all the shit he pulled in Kirkwall, that isn't really that far off, Donald. Unfortunately, blood mage Batman won't be much help stopping the Warden's ritual. We are going to need to be somewhat charismatic without Blackwall here.
I think we will be fine. We have every dialogue perk and we even spared a few Wardens. Besides, we are up against Livius. What's the worst he can do?
Normally, I would agree with you, Joe, but the Wardens have proven pretty gullible and engrossed into the Green Mountain Dew energies. This won't be a cakewalk.
We have no time to stand on ceremony.
Ahriman is really over here acting like a boyfriend trying to rush his girl out the door for an event.
Bro should try turning on his PS5 while she talks. The sound will instantly trigger her to stop wasting time and be ready.
I don't know what the science is behind that move, but it really does work. I was trying to take Michelle out for Valentine's Day, and she took 2 hours getting ready. I turned on my PS5 to play some Sons of Sparta, and she instantly rushed down to complain about me not having my shoes on.
Don't tell Donald, but we have yet another guy voiced by Chancellor Roderick on our screen.
Don't worry, he won't be on the screen for that much longer, so I don't even need to say it.
We mentioned this forever ago, but back in Crestwood, if we didn't stop the elf woman from joining the Wardens instead of the senior Warden here, it would be her being blood sacrificed to summon fear into this realm.
Stop them! We must complete the ritual.
What's up, Livius? You ready to be Dedius in a minute?
Donald, you already used that joke last episode. You can't use it twice.
Yes, I can. It was a good one.
Let him cook, Obama. Just let him cook.
Damn logic isn't going to work on these guys if they already know the worst part about the binding ritual. But still, for some reason, think this is totally worth it.
I'm sure you can't wait for Clarel to do that. How else are you going to bind her?
Yes, Inquisitor. I want to bind the Warden Commander to a demon. Everyone in this room already knows that.
They obviously wouldn't be doing this if they thought Claro would be binded and a servant to a demon. I think the issue is how Ahriman worded that line, putting emphasis on the bind. Otherwise, I have to assume she is deaf and couldn't read Ahriman's lips.
At this point, Obama, do the Wardens need any more defense to their side? This is the second time they have blood sacrificed their own guys to summon a demon, and no one for even a moment thought, oh wait, this seems pretty evil.
Who the hell told the Wardens Corypheus was dead? The Inquisition has been spreading like wildfire that our enemy is one of the ancient magisters, Corypheus. You're telling me the Wardens have a spy network to figure out the most defensible and easiest place to do a blood magic ritual, but they didn't know Corypheus is alive.
Oh my lord, she is really over here pondering and debating that decisions and critical thinking are hard when she is in charge of an entire nation of Wardens. Like, can you stop and think, if we are here to talk to you instead of immediately shooting first, that we aren't the bad guy here?
And she made the wrong choice anyway, and is going to continue on the Mountain Dew Fadrift plan. Do me a favor, Clarel, and go play in traffic. If you're feeling the urge to die, don't sick a fear demon on the world.
Please, I have seen more than my share of blood magic. It is never worth the cost.
I betrayed the Wardens once and it cost me everything. Are you mad enough to think I'd do it again?
Yeah, because that gurgling and screaming coming from the rift is definitely a good thing, boys.
Be ready with the ritual, Clarel. This demon is truly worthy of your strength.
All right, stand down, Boy Scouts. I may not have Beard Wall with me, but I do have history perks, and by God, do you all need one.
You stopped the Blight at the Silent Plains, at Starkhaven and Hunterfell, at Aisley and Denerim.
Obviously, since this mentions Denerim, the Inquisitor is listing the final battles of each Blight in order. I would have preferred the sparing Warden's options, since it earns Cassandra approval. But go off, Donald.
So this choice makes the non-mage Wardens friendly, right?
Yes, this becomes clearer if you choose the sparing Wardens option, as some of the Wardens will mention the mages not acting right. This means the mage Wardens besides Clearl are already bound to Ahriman, and no one here even notices it until the Inquisitor brings it up.
Or perhaps I should bring in a more reliable ally. My master thought you might come here, Inquisitor. He sent me this to welcome you.
Dun 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 dun. Greetings, Chucklenuts. You must have prayed to your god because I have arrived, and Dad says it's my turn with the presidents. Oh god, not this Temu Dragon bitch again. As if we didn't have enough irrelevant NPCs in this scene.
I will show you irrelevant when my ult turns you all to atoms, and I rack up a higher Warden kill streak than you. How many Wardens did you kill without Loghain's help again, you fossilized fuck? Like one?
I'm surprised you got through that whole sentence without an iPad or a 6-7 joke, aren't you? Like 2 weeks old, you barely legal loser. The Dumat dipshit only summoned you because he needed to copy my glorious body.
All right, enough of the pissing contest, you two. We have actual plot to get through, and your time in the spotlight will come, Corypheus Dragon.
Damn, Ahriman really folded after one singular lightning bolt. Bro forgot to keep his barriers up during a cutscene.
Oh, look, a volunteer. NPC, how nice. I shall call you Riordan the Second. Hello, Riordan the Second.
The Inquisitor.
So not only is this another goddamn pride demon in the fortress, but this is the third empowered one we have seen in this mission alone. What kind of cosmic beef do I have with the world to earn this kind of punishment, boys?
Well, at least Corypheus isn't here to crash our game 2 or 3 times while we try and take out the rest of the demons, boys.
If the presidents really crave my mighty father's ultimate, then I can bestow it upon you for the glory of the future American Imperium.
That's the goddamn title he is working with here? Thanks, I already hate it more than any slogan Obama has come up with or any song Joe has sang.
All right, either kill this asshole so he shuts up or drown him out with a comment question, or else I am going to actually lose my shit.
All right, whatever, lucky for you all. I can think on the fly, boys. So obviously this is the second quest line where we have a major choice to make. And unlike the Templar quest, we have 2 choices that kind of matter here for the story, and the ending slides. There's also several different options you can choose from here to make the Warden contact different depending on your keep import. So viewers, during your first ever playthrough of Inquisition, what choice did you make regarding who was left behind in the Fade, and what did you end up choosing for the Wardens in regards to exile or alliance? As for me, I would never spare the Ostagar coward or deny Big Bro Alistair the throne, so I left Stroud in the Fade, and then to pay for their sins, I exiled the Wardens. Sure, I could have used them as big backs in the Inquisition army, but not only were they all chicken nuggets on a tray for Corypheus to control and spawn into, but they needed to pay for their crimes of blood magic collusion, and without a French leader, they should just be the first Warden's problem.
All right, exiling the Wardens for blood magic is valid, if not maybe a little dramatic given the Inquisition is trying to save the literal end of the world, but I do agree with the Wardens being a danger to themselves and a threat to Corypheus, even if in-game this doesn't translate well. As for me, when I found out Loghein made a meaningful appearance in this game, I had to export a save where he was alive, and then to redeem the Wardens in the most thematic sense possible, I had to leave him in the Fade. As for the Warden decision, I already gave it away, but I believed sparing the Wardens was equivalent to saving the Reaper Rachnier Queen in Mass Effect 3, and that it would eventually bite us in the ass. Unfortunately, Inquisition never really considered making this a meaningful gameplay impact, so unless you're hardcore role-playing, there's no real reason to exile the Wardens, but for a first-time playthrough, it's a very valid option.
All right, I am actually going to mix this up then. My Warden contact was actually Alistair because in my first playthrough of Origins, when Barry made me play it, I really didn't vibe with making Alistair king against his will, so me and him stayed Warden bros together. So when the choice between Hawke and Alistair came up, I was literally heartbroken, but I could never leave Meryl single and alone. So unfortunately, as heartbreaking as it was, Alistair died to the Fear Demon. It honestly sucks because a world where the hero of Ferelden is commander of the Ferelden chapter and Alistair is commander of the Arlesian chapter sounds hype as hell. I also trusted the Wardens enough to ally with the Inquisition. I figured if anyone earned a little goodwill for bad deeds, it's the Wardens, after all their work during the Fifth Blight and Awakening.
All right, I guess no one is renegade enough to throw Hawke into the Fade blender. Good to know. So viewers, let us know what choice you made in your first playthrough of Inquisition in regards to the Wardens and who you left in the Fade. Our editor will read everyone, and as always, his favorite will be featured next episode. But with that all being said, Obama Mind featuring our favorite comment from last episode.
Sure thing, Donald. Our featured comment comes from the Evil Good, who said they prefer having a separate bar where you can allocate roleplay abilities like lockpicking and crafting while also enjoying Dragon Age 2's system. He also pointed out a separate bar gives a more defined path for character building, which leads to less main character Mary Sue's. Like how Bethesda tends to handle roleplay opportunities, they also mentioned that Awakening missed on the roleplay opportunities by allowing you to import your Warden even if they died in the battle for Denerim. So they are very roleplay minded. Thank you for your comment, and can't wait to hear what choice you made in Inquisition.
All right, real quick with these super thanks too, just getting everything done with this super long fight. Thank you as always to Robert Wadsworth for the $50 and $20 donations. We really appreciate all your support, and we hope you enjoy your romance donations, paying off in both ways, man. We also have two $20 donations from Randomly Entertaining. Sorry, we missed your episode 5 one last time. It came when the video was already rendering, and we appreciate your attention to detail with the reused animations from Mass Effect to Dragon Age 2. We also have 15 European monies from Maxthy. Thank you as always for your donation streak on this channel and for saying last episode was top 5. You all didn't have to donate, but as always, it's greatly appreciated. You guys have massive schlongs.
Great question, you aging fossil freaks, but don't let that distract you from the fact that only your Inquisitor is still alive, and the Pride Demon and Mage are both empowered and ready to kill. My father's glory will soon ascend beyond this game.
Holy shit, the glaze is unreal. Hop off me already, we are not dying this goddamn early. I am getting my second Deathless episode.
Well, the revive worked, but if you had dropped a barrier immediately after reviving everyone, you might have had a better chance here. Donald, looks like the dream of the Deathless episode isn't obtainable yet.
I didn't hear no bell, Cassandra, and the egg can carry, probably.
You're cooked.
Well, on the plus side, we get a unique endgame screen that I am sure some viewers haven't even seen. We get a similar endgame screen for Wicked Eyes and what Pride had wrought as well.
God damn it, this is bullshit. I demand a recount. Also, I am not reading all that hop off.
Nah, come on, Donald. Read it. I doubt some viewers even knew there were unique death screens here.
I fucking hate it here. After defeating the Inquisition at Adamant, the Grey Wardens completed their blood magic ritual. Once their mages were bound to Corypheus, he used them and his army of demons to conquer Orlais, then brought the might of his new Tevinter Imperium down upon Ferelden. Too bad that shit isn't happening, because after I reloaded, the mage wasn't empowered, and this was easy goddamn money. Now let's go take care of the Dedius and his traitor of a Warden girlfriend.
Bash your head against the wall as much as you like. Your deaths will be yet another block in the tower of my father's design.
For the love of Sandel, let's skip ahead. I can't take 30 minutes of listening to this guy probably chat GPT villain lines. My delivery was far better anyway.
That's fine by me. The massive fight was already taken care of, and we have spent almost 10 minutes here already. Now let's go watch the most mild mage duel of all time.
I can give Clairol a lot of shit for her decision-making and morality, but unlike Jacob or most squad mates, she knows to keep her barrier up during cutscenes.
That, and Dedius has the stopping power of a silenced .22 caliber pistol, despite being a magister from the Robe Empire.
Clairol, I really hate to agree with this cartoon villain, but he is kind of cooking you here, and you're not even clapping back.
At least Clairol is about to do something kind of redeeming.
Yeah, she is about as redeeming as Loghein. And just like the Ostagar coward, she's about to get a kill steal on our fake archdemon and the Magister bitch.
Don't underestimate how much of a mild mage she is, Orange One. Instead of using any kind of fatal spell, she instead decided to toss him around and let him walk away.
Clairol doesn't end up killing him here somehow.
Oh, please, if you really think Clarel is going to save the day, then you probably think next we are going to gather all our allies and sing a friendship speech.
Yoink. Add that death as another Warden kill in my name. Maybe one day you can stop hoarding your beauty products, Euthymerial, and I can teach you how a real archdemon kills a Warden.
Congrats. You killed the old woman more confused than Sleepy Joe. I had to go against a 100-point constitution dwarf god wielded by a man with 1,000 hours in Dragon Age.
Oh, really? Well, last I checked, you never made the main character back up in fear like
Yada 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 get reordered by an inconsequential side character, which is about as similar as we will get to each other, Team Dragon.
Is now a bad time to complain that Clarel stole my goddamn kill?
Donald, how exactly were you planning on killing the Corypheus dragon when it's a late-game boss, and we have absolutely no range on that thing?
Well, I don't have a skill issue like you two, so I would have found a way. Also, Lavalin, are you seriously running back for Loghain of all people? Man has killed more elves than Daenerys has, and is like 60 years old at this point. Just let the old man fall.
Bro will never stop the beef. Also, blink attack.
Transition as smooth as butter console players could never. Also, thank God I willed gravity to stop working there, otherwise that might have hurt.
Hopefully no one watching is motion sick, because the cameraman was clearly having a lot of fun in the editing room with these angles.
Happened.
Looks like gravity hasn't fully returned to normal for Loghain and Hawke, though, at least not until we get out of the cutscene.
We were falling. If this is the afterlife, the Chantry owes me an apology. This looks nothing like the Maker's bosom.
No. This is the Fade.
Well, it's time for Solas to info-dump about his favorite subject, the Fade.
The Inquisitor opened a rift. We came through. And survived. I never thought I would ever find myself here physically. Look. The Black City. Almost close enough to touch.
Given what we know about the Black City from Veilguard, I imagine Solas isn't exactly thrilled to see the Black City so close, given the fact he didn't finish all the food he left inside the Black City the last time he saw it.
You know, not to derail the plot, but doesn't the Warden's plan to kill the last two archdemons kind of benefit his? If the elven gods are maintaining the veil and killing the archdemons causes them to die in the Black City, isn't this a net positive for him?
I think Solas doesn't like all the demons being forced to be bound to Wardens, and the overuse of blood magic when the Wardens could just naturally destroy the archdemons over time.
I was just trying to find any point I could to beef with the egg, but fair enough, that's on me for bringing up Veilguard in the first place. Well, between the egg and Fade veteran Hawke, I am sure we will have plenty of guides and plenty more yaps to get through this section of the game.
Wait, is Hawke a Fade veteran? Hasn't he only been there once during the Fine Reel quest?
Well, in-game, yes, but given Malcolm Hawke's training, it's safe to assume he gave Hawke and Bethany some Fade experiences, if not an outright version of the harrowing to cement his training. That will always be my headcanon, at least.
Varric, Cassandra, and the Coward are really just sitting here shrugging to themselves, while the two mages and the Fade-wielding Inquisitor discuss what exactly is going on here.
Varric could definitely chime in too. He has been to the Fade at least once in the visual novels before, and possibly twice if you bring him in. Dragon Age 2.
Look, I will just settle for Varric not having an anxiety attack like Oberyn did in Awakening, or like Cole does. if you bring him here.
Oh, right, as if the social anxiety ghost couldn't get any worse. Doesn't he straight up get overstimulated if you bring him here?
Cole wanted to leave the Fade for a reason, Donald. And he especially doesn't like a big giant demon that can see him when he is used to being invisible to everyone. Cole is also uncomfortable being in the Fade in his human form and in such a dangerous realm. Plus, fear isn't as easy to rage bait as envy was.
Some variety of fear, I would guess. I suggest you remain wary of its manipulations and prepare for what is certain to be a fascinating experience.
All this Fade talk just makes me want to see how certain companions in Inquisition would have reacted to Sloth's realm and the individual Fade realms that each companion went through. Like who could see through it, who would be duped, and who would be the most pissed to be here.
I am pretty sure, just like Sten, Iron Bull would be able to tell this is the Fade due to the Qunari training he has.
Solas is a dreamer, so he wouldn't really be tricked by anything a sloth demon would have for him. I imagine his realm would be somewhat revealing as to what he really is, and he would have to change it himself before we got there. Cole would also be immune to Sloth's effects, and be just as concerned about being here as he is in Inquisition.
Cole being immune to Sloth's powers might only be a 50-50 possibility. I would say Dorian and Vivienne have a chance, but if someone like Wynne can be tricked by Sloth, I don't think either of them would have much of a chance either. Anyways, Donald, do you know what to do with these Fade quests?
Obama, for the love of Sandel, we are on episode 7 at this point. If I don't ask for help, you don't need to offer it. I already figured it out. All you have to do is click the ghosts that are idle in an area, then search nearby for the item the ghosts need, and you get your free skill point. And I already know in the other corner, there's an extra skill point to find on a Morrigan mirror.
All right, great, Donald. Looks like you have it all figured out.
It sucks that unlike the Envy Fade sequence, not all of these are beneficial to us. Like, what are we supposed to do with a point in magic or strength? Don't those not even benefit rogues in Inquisition?
It's true that dexterity, strength, and magic increase damage for class-specific characters. However, strength increases damage to guard for everyone. Dexterity increases crit damage, and magic increase barrier damage for all classes. Not something you should try to build around, but the Fade buffs will do something for us. Cunning, willpower, and constitution are more broad and can give any class extra advantages that we can go over another time.
All right, well, the damaged Morrigan mirror that is here for some unknown reason is right around the corner past these two spirits here. In the interest of advancing the plot, I'm going to skip ahead and talk to the definitely not suspicious old woman just chilling in the Fade.
Well, I know Cassandra will be happy about seeing her here again, but I have to admit, besides the mystery as to what the Divine really is here, this might just be the weakest plot point of this otherwise pretty good quest.
You're putting the Chantry Ghost plot over the epic slander and character assassination of the Wardens Obama?
You really don't like solving the mystery as to what the Divine Spirit really is, Barry. That seems like a debate right up your alley.
I do like the debate here, but not the spirit debate, since I really think it's fairly obvious in lore that this is a spirit that followed the Divine closely in life and is now trying to continue her work in the Fade by helping us. The debate I do like only appears if we are a faithful Inquisitor, and that's do we lose our faith in Andraste, finding out that the Divine saved us out after we were put in here by coincidence, or do we still believe the Maker led us to become their champion just more indirectly? And what is more important for our organization?
Good yap, Obama, but thankfully we are a faithful Inquisitor, so we can have that crisis of faith moment and cement ourselves as a chosen one with a little bit of self-doubt for that needed edge.
Really? How hard is it to answer one question? I'm a human, and you are...
Look, Divine Ghost or Maker Ghost, you might be able to debate with the Inquisitor or Solas what you are. But Hawke has killed enough demons to cause a Fade population shortage. Your tricks are not endearing to him. Also, I almost forgot about the amnesia plot point in this game. It kind of stopped coming up after the first episode almost 10 hours ago.
Lore accurate, Sleepy Joe. Anyways, Obama, why are you so against this quest? Most people seem to really like this Fade scene for the companion interactions and the interactions with the Divine.
Well, let me be clear. I like this Fade sequence. Even if it could have been more unique, the companion interactions and side quests here are all top tier and have that classic Fade aesthetic to them. I just take issue with the Divine Ghost itself and the amnesia plotline. The amnesia plot never really came up again after the tutorial, so getting our memories back is just like an okay reward, but it doesn't necessarily do anything towards stopping Corypheus in the debate about the Divine and the Spirit itself. Doesn't really do anything to advance the plot either. Although maybe I am just being nitpicky because I know the Divine was a more last-minute addition because it was easier to write having her here instead of who they planned.
Damn, I didn't realize the main quest was going to be a literary roast, Barry. I was more so just prepared to roast the Wardens and the Fear Demon.
All right, Obama. I already know that you are going to yap about who replaced the Divine in some obscure observation, but we literally have the rest of the Fade sections to go over your yaps. And if the AI demon is still here and still alert by God, Are we going to need yaps to drown him out?
I normally love being in the Fade, but this shit feels like a birthday party that you weren't invited to, but that one friend said to come anyway. Even when he isn't monologuing, that bastard is blighting the vibes.
Ah, I remember when I blighted the lands and struck fear into the hearts of elves and man alike. Simpler times.
You good, Demi? You're not plotting behind my back or something.
Not really. I'm over world domination mostly. I'm just waxing nostalgia is all.
Do anything else, you must recover it. These are your memories, Inquisitor.
All right, why the hell did the egg and our religious waifu disapprove of trying to hurt the fear demon? Is the egg secretly colluding with the fear demon?
It's because you didn't pick the well shit option. Everyone picks the Varric line double D.
It's probably because you're focused on fighting the demon instead of trying to escape. Cassandra probably wants out immediately, and Solas probably knows this demon isn't something we can just kill, although disapproval is pushing it. Anyways, we can skip past grabbing each specific fate orb.
Wait, hang on. Didn't Corpheus have his own version of this scene?
Oh, God damn it.
Reason number 13, why the Maker isn't real. Werewolves are a clear sign that mages are able to create new beings from blood magic and the Fade, which means at best, the Maker was some kind of mage combining spirits with other animals until we got humanity. Reason number 14, if the ashes were really blessed by Andraste, then why were the lyrium veins so rich in the room? And why else would their followers need to rest the remains in a lyrium-rich temple? Fellow mages, keep her head focused on the presentation. It's vital to the ritual.
Someone, help me!
Wait, what the hell? Who let this farm tool in the room? Don't you all keep separate rooms for the farm tools? Wait, what the hell did I drop the orb? Wait, hang on, farm tool. I know it might appeal to your tree-hugging instincts, but you must not touch it.
My lord, it appears you have fumbled the orb when the old lady smacked it.
Yes, I can see that, Tom. Oh, fuck, he's grabbing it. He's grabbing my orb.
Wait, so like, can he change in-game events but still not know this was going to happen in said events because he knew to leave a message but not that our Inquisitor was going to walk in and foil his plans?
Joe, what the fuck? You didn't have to reuse the same sentence you did last time. We aren't in a loop just because we rewatched a cutscene.
Oh, my bad. I just got some weird deja vu.
Okay, as great as it is to get a visual of what happened during the prologue, we already knew, like most of this information, Corpheus and Solas both admitted the mark is from the orb. We know Corpheus was trying to sacrifice the divine, and we stopped him. Hell, the only new information we got is the Wardens helped sneak Corpheus in and have been assisting him all along, which means this binding ritual has been going on longer than we think.
I know Obama's being a dick about this, but now that I think about it, how did we know about the parts we weren't there for? Like we would only have memories of walking in the door, not what the divine said about the Wardens?
I assumed the divine spirit gave us a little context too, by giving us some of the divine's memories. Also, knowing the Wardens were with Corpheus from the start, and how we got the orb is important context.
Some of yourself. But now, it knows you are here. You must make haste. I will prepare the way ahead.
I guess we have to get all of our memories back from the fear demon before we are allowed to leave, which is a reasonable theory since it's not that different from the Fade Lieutenants and Origins that tethered us to this realm.
Oh shoot, I almost forgot to ask. Is this the realm you two saw when fear warped you last episode?
Nah, not really. It was a TV stage where I had to present my fantasy world to panelists without a teleprompter or note cards, and they all would ask different questions all at once. Only thing similar was the green Fade energies.
That's not what it was at all. I was in Tevinter, except it was the Americanized Tevinter, where Anders was the president and R.L. Howe was his VP.
I guess it was different for each of you, since you all have different fears. Thank God I didn't get warped in. I would have had to play all of Dead Space 1, but only the bathroom maps. Let's move on before Hawke and Loghein start beefing with each other, though. We deserve a small reprieve from that.
Help us. For the moment, at least.
I'm less concerned with her than I am with the nightmare she mentioned.
Sounds like it preys on fear. Stealing people's memories, that's low, even for a demon.
Fear is a very old...
To disfear in Solas' opinion, by fear being an old powerful emotion, rage would also be one of the first and oldest emotions too. People were pissed and beefing with each other as long as desire and fear.
I guess that means somewhere in the Fade there is a giant Hulk demon with his ultimate fully charged ready to pound an innocent Jeff player.
Welcome to the Fear Realm. Have a look around. Take a look at all the power and horrors ready to be found. Be writhing, be trembling, be ready to beg.
By the time I'm done with you, they won't even find a leg.
Good God, Kailang, don't cut yourself with all that edge you're exuding. You're a demon of fear and uncertainty, not cringe.
Oh, but there's nothing more uncomfortable than cringe, Mr. President. Although you would know all about that, wouldn't you, Mr. Bodybuilder?
Should I do it? I'm gonna do it!
I've always wanted to ask Donald what the hell was the point of you doing that. Do you think having the most clipped TikTok video wins the polls?
First of all, it worked. And second of all, stop asking about my speeches. He is clearly just showing that to divide our friendship so he can suck us back into his fear hole.
Oh, please. If I wanted to do that, I would just remind you, Donald, that Obama spared the mages in Origins, and Joe tried to kill Isabella in 2, and both Joe and Donald left you hanging during your Origins. Special Obama. The list goes on. Honestly, I would have a harder time breaking up the spirit alternative life partners in your head than you three.
Nothing comes between us, you home-wrecking demon slut!
Bro, again. That sounds extremely sus. You don't have to say it like that.
Yeah, well, we brought AI Solas, so you can't touch us without our consent again, you uncertain farming cuck.
Oh my, you mean I can't warp you into my realm that you're already in? Oh no, what will I ever do? If you want to move anywhere in my realm, you will have to play by my rules with my tools.
You're not even playing by the game rules. Aren't you supposed to talk like Corypheus?
Oh, my apologies. I know you think about his voice secretly when no one is looking, and that's why you get so triggered by him. Donald.
That is not even remotely true. What? Just shut up and let me focus on solving this side objective here.
Haha. Oh, very well. Don't mind me. I will be back when you least expect it. I might even keep some of the voice lines the same since it's hard to improve upon perfection. If BioWare can do it, then so can I.
Not gonna lie, I think I will take the Justice or Archdemon drama over this because that is not something I needed to know about you at all, Donald.
Perhaps I should be afraid, facing the most powerful members of the Inquisition. Once again, Hawke is in danger because of you, Varric. You found the Red Lyrium. You brought Hawke here.
You can rage bait a lot of people, but Varric is the best gaslighter in the business. He isn't falling for anything short of actually murdering Hawke and bringing Bartran back for good measure to insult us and beat up his minimum wage workers.
I think we just need to put an asterisk for any of the Dragon Age 2 squad mates that blood magic simply won't work on them after all of the shit they have seen. Also, this area over here has a few different triggers we should be on the lookout for. We have to go up the stairs and defeat the demons, then the Illuvian can be interacted with for a cunning skill point. Then when we go back down, we can interact with another broken mirror for another skill point, all the while running around to trigger all of the unique companion interactions.
You definitely can't miss the unique companion triggers, Donald. That would be more horrifying than anything Fear or any Fade Realm could do to Obama here.
I wouldn't dream of missing the unique dialogue. It's everyone's favorite part of the Fade after all. My personal favorite is when the Fear Coward insults the royal robe by bringing up her age.
Now Varric stays on top here. The Fear Demon pulled out all the stops with Red Lyrium, Bartran, and Hawke, some of his deepest cuts, and Varric just kind of shrugs it off and stays cool.
Your Inquisitor is a fraud, Cassandra. Yet more evidence there is no maker, that all your faith has been for naught.
Intense blood-curdling shout, Aka, Aka, Aka. Insult my wife again and I will turn the Fade into the Middle East on Thanksgiving, you fear-mongering bitch. Bark, bark, bark.
Relax, Obama. He will be dead as fuck in 20 minutes or less.
Döth ma herelan. Mabanal inasalin. Marsolas ina Martin.
Translate the egg language to help ease your mind.
Reading the words fluidly, the Fear Demon said to Solas, "Have you learned, trickster? That was no victory. Your pride will be your death." Solas then replies, "Your words are nothing," which is the long-winded way to say, "You're full of shit."
So like as a Dalish elf, we should know what Nightmare said here, right? Why can't we just confront Solas about why he called him a trickster?
Welcome to the railroad choo-choo.
Truthfully, what Fear said is still pretty vague, and Solas could talk his way out of it. Fear only gave a taste to prove he knows what Solas is.
Did you think anything you ever did mattered? You couldn't even save your city. How could you expect to strike down a god? Meryl is going to die, just like your family, and everyone you ever...
Higher-pitched and old blood-curdling scream. Mommy Meryl will never die, and I will skull-fuck your spider corpse. Backa.
Joe, relax. Fear has no idea where Meryl is, and he wouldn't even be able to kill her. We are fine.
All right, he might not have rage-baited Varric successfully, but he got the rest of us. And I think we have all seen versions of ourselves that we don't want others to see. Let's all agree to never mention this again.
Agreed.
Ha ha ha. I make no such agreement.
Blow me fear.
The nightmare itself.
And of course, they look like giant spiders.
Spiders? I see maggots crawling in filth.
Well, at least we aren't the only ones getting put on blast. Every companion's fear is getting aired out by this demon. Cassandra's afraid of dirt and maggots, and just like Sleepy Joe, the Inquisitor has a slight fear of spiders.
Good to know he takes after me in some way. I was beginning to not see much of a resemblance, besides the elf features.
And who can forget about Hawke and Loghein? Well, there's not really much to say. A masterful tactician willing to make the hard choices when other so-called civilized rulers can't. From saving lives at Ostagar to killing the traditional tyrant Arl Aemon.
Oh, that's it! I will mount your head on Skyhold!
All right, let's move on and collect the memory spirits before Donald turns from an orange chroma to a red chroma. As always, we are going to skip collecting the 4 pieces with the help of editing magic.
Oh yeah, that's some real good Mountain Dew energy pouring into our brains, boys.
What peak cortisol does to a man. Wait, hang on. I just realized we have been wearing our current armor for these memories instead of the prologue armor we had originally.
So this scene here is contradictory to what we saw in the opening of Inquisition. In this scene, the Inquisitor is chased up a stairway by large spiders, looks back to the physical version of Justinia, reaches out to her. Justinia falls back, and the Inquisitor goes forward into the Veil Tear. In the opening sequence, when the Inquisitor runs up the stairs, the white ghost is ahead and above the Inquisitor, the ghost reaches out to the Inquisitor, the anchor flashes and the screen does a whiteout. The positions of the two characters are reversed between the two depictions of what is supposedly the same event, and each has a different ending.
So then which version is what really happened?
I think the first version is what really happened. The Spirit Divine is the one helping us, and obviously wants the Divine to come off as more sacrificial out of respect for her.
I am going to have to disagree with you there, Joe. Fear stole our memories of this whole incident when we entered the Fade, and what we were left with are scattered fragments. I think the starting scene was our best guess at what happened with a shattered memory, and this new version is what actually happened.
Yes.
Whatever, I still prefer having a little magic in the world as always. It might not explain how the Divine died, but maybe it was just luck of the draw rather than a heroic sacrifice. It fits the whole right place, right time narrative.
I do like how everyone jumps on the demon train, though. Even the egg didn't leap to her defense like he did the fear demon earlier.
The spirit doesn't inherently know what it is either, which is why they say to tell any story we want about them.
I am just going with the slightly spiritual option to ride that dead horse all the way home, boys.
Help me instead of passing on.
If that is the story you wish to tell, it is not a bad one.
What we do know is that the mortal divine perished at the temple, thanks to the Grey Warden.
Now it looks like Hawke and the traitor have to argue about who's prettier.
This spirit has no further revelations. We should work on getting back to Adamant alive.
Assuming that the Wardens and their demon army didn't destroy the Inquisition while we were gone.
I know we just said how anti-blood magic Hawke is, but he is coming off as needlessly aggressive for no reason here.
This argument makes a little more sense with a Templar-sided Hawke, since just like in Kirkwall, Hawke has a zero-tolerance policy for blood magic after everything he has seen.
I almost forgot that in addition to being a war criminal, Loghein is a damn mage apologist who caused the Ferelden Circle incident siding with Uldred.
I kind of forgot that connection too, but saying it was Logain's fault is a bit of a reach. I doubt he told Uldred to summon demons. He just wanted some military power on his side for the upcoming Blight. That does give this argument more context.
I hate that I am siding against Hawke here, but he is being way too harsh on the Wardens. Sure, they did this ritual, but that doesn't mean they are responsible for the Divine's death or they need to not exist anymore. We still need them for Blights at least.
Everyone disagrees with you, Sleepy. Maybe you better check yourself. I have never seen such resounding support for being renegade before in our entire Dragon Age series. But glazing Loghein for no reason is how you got into this situation, so why am I not surprised? At least both of them know to stop being petty and square up when the demons show up.
They might be trying to kill each other for stupid reasons, but Loghein and Hawke are always ready for the smoke. The last 20 minutes have definitely proved that, if nothing else.
It helps they are both immortal warriors for this entire mission too, but at least everyone can agree on something. I was worried we were going to have another Landsmeet duel on our hands.
Oh, believe me, the Landsmeet is closer than you think.
Okay, that shit was not the win.
Nothing he is talking about the Winter Palace quest being our next stop after this quest. You know, since it's so much like the Land's Meat, and it's the next quest in the order.
I doubt that's what he really means, since he is flat out wrong. We have side content and companion quests to get through first as well.
You all are pulling a Loghein and focusing on the wrong thing here. We still have some Fade section to go, and after I kill these spider assholes, we have another skill point puzzle to unlock. And once we complete 2 more puzzles, we can take another shot.
Oh, believe me, once I am done with you, Mr. President's taking another shot will be a blessing. I want to play a little game with you all.
Wrong series, little bro.
But we are already playing a game.
Oh, for fuck's sake, just shut up and listen. As you can see, every piece of my realm is a barrier to unlock. I decide what paths you travel and what paths you don't. If you want to progress further, you'll have to conquer your biggest fear on YouTube.
Look, if this breaks monetization guidelines, I will just say you can kill us all now for all we care.
No, not that. But if you want to break my barrier, you'll have to talk about the Fallout TV show, Season 2. Ha 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 ha. Good luck, gentlemen.
You evil bastard, you might as well just flood the video with shill comments now.
Well, no way around it. We might as well get started. We all saw Season 2, right?
Obama, I'm pretty sure he can read our minds. He knows that we all saw it at this point. Slight spoilers for Season 2, although we will try to be vague on major stuff. Honestly, I think Season 2 was overall better than Season 1. The story points that didn't concern the vaults were all really interesting to see unfold. If anything, I think Bethesda went hard trying to correct the NCR erasure that everyone was pissed about during Season 1. My only gripe with it is really how dumb they made the Brotherhood of Steel and how quickly they abandoned that plotline. It felt like they wanted to get it over with so they could focus on Vault Tech and the Enclave.
I agree, Season 2 was better than Season 1, although not by much. There was some really peak meme moments like Kevin from Home Along being a legate, the snake oil guy and Fisto returning, and the best scene of all, the She's Canadian scene, but I thought a lot of the storylines ending were rather abrupt, not just the Brotherhood. I get that they only had 8 episodes, but the Legion were a threat for an episode, then they just weren't. There was a super mutant for a scene and then he just left. The Vault managers were a problem, then they just weren't same, of course. Like Donald said, for the Brotherhood of Steel,
I believe they were really trying to not step over the New Vegas games by creating an ending where every faction is damaged but still intact. Basically a free New Vegas ending not run by the Courier, but yes, man, just not existing was a fumble in my eyes. There's something to be said about the giant reset. New Vegas got at the end of Season 2 where now House, the NCR, and the Legion are all back and ready to take control again. Which, yeah, I know fits the war never changes theme. I guess we will see if the show explores the New Vegas 2 plot or leaves it up in the open, but I think how they proceed next will impact how a lot of people see the show. Sure, it did amazing rating-wise since it's a high-quality game adaptation, but the New Vegas fans will only stay quiet for so long.
I would also like to inform everyone that the Presidents are in fact sponsored by Bethesda, and they are corporate shills trying to ruin your favorite series. I can show their checks by Bethesda if you like.
yeah, viewers, our small channel that has never made a Fallout video in the last decade is definitely paid by Bethesda. And if you believe that from the literal demon of fear, well then I don't really know what to tell you.
Oh, well done, well done. But that was only challenge 1. I have thought of several more before you reach the end. Now for Barrier 2, you 3 must go around the room and add 1 positive lore addition that Veilguard brought into the series without complaining about any other factor in Veilguard.
Yeah, how about no, this bit already went far longer than it needed to. Justice now.
Mana Clash, bitch!
Oh, god damn it, my eye, that kinda hurt!
There you go, Mr. President. The way to fear is clear. Everybody gets one.
You're still not my goddamn supervisor?
So wait, Justice, are we going to talk about how you perfectly coordinated an attack against fear there with Solas?
And how the Mana Clash hurt him this time but didn't do shit last time?
Jesus Christ, should I have left him to monologue and give you 2 more trials? Obviously my attack on its own wasn't enough to harm him, but me and the egg coordinated attacks against demons while in the briefcase last year.
That really doesn't make much sense, but those are questions we are going to have to ask later because we have another Peak Fade companion sequence up ahead here.
All right, the companion graveyard. I only wish the companions could actually react to seeing their biggest fears on the graveyard. As it is, it's just kind of something for the players to read.
Speaking of reading, since no one says anything about the graveyards audibly, why don't we read them for the viewers, while Donald struggles to find the fate item he needs?
I know where it is, Sleepy. I'm just letting the viewers see all of them. Also, once I am done collecting the vial, I'm going to grab the last Illuvian to the left of this area.
Well, for those of you listening and not watching the Graveyards list, the ultimate fears of every companion are as follows. Iron Bull madness, Vivienne irrelevance, Varric becoming his parents, Cassandra helplessness, Blackwall himself, Dorian temptation, Sarah the nothing, Cole despair, and Solas dying alone.
The writers were straight up cooking with those fears. They really all make sense. Also, Donald, do you think I could have that Nug plushie? I need it for my collection.
No, you can't, Sleepy. I need it as the last fear conquered to finish the side quest and let the viewers take another shot, since in a roundabout way, this is a collection quest. Also, Obama, what the hell is this pillar puzzle here? Does it give something worthwhile?
It gives us good influence and a purple ring, but I thought you didn't want me to backseat you since this is your game.
Oh, stop being sassy and tell me the solution already. I legit said the one exception was when I asked for help.
All right, well, looking at the puzzle from left to right, with 1 being the most left and 5 being the most right. The code for this goes 4th box, then the 1st box, then the 3rd box, then the 5th box, then the 2nd box.
Having a little trouble, Donald.
Hop off, Sleepy. It's just hard to click the right point with a mouse and keyboard. This quest would be 10 times easier if we were on controller. But I got it. I am the best at solving stupid, tedious box puzzles, believe me. Now that I got the Sundering Ring, we can end this?
Well, before we end it, we have to grab our reward for the Fears of Dreamer's quest.
Completing this quest unlocks the essence of perfection, probably a top 5 reward in this game. This essence guarantees a critical craft on the weapon or armor you put it on. If you don't know what that means, critical crafting materials give a chance of adding plus 10% to all of the item statistics.
Can't wait to make a new armor with this next episode. Our armor will be perfect like Cell.
Actually, Donald, we should hold on to it until the DLCs. Like everything else, we get some really good Tier 3 crafting materials during Jaws and Descent that we should take advantage of.
The rift! We're almost there. Great, Hawke. Why not just dare the old gods to try and stop you?
Okay, it's time for the most mid-final boss of Inquisition.
Are you quite certain of that, Joseph? I am empowered with both my newfound awareness, and the trials don't think for a moment that your game knowledge will save you here. I have existed far past your 1,000 hours, and when I have turned that knowledge into despair, I will become the apotheosis unleashed onto your realm and... Oh fuck, my other eye. What kind of friendship has been Hotel Season 2 ending kind of attack was that?
Man, fear you might have had us by the balls when we first met, but just like every other Inquisition villain, you are addicted to monologuing, instead of actually ending us with cutscene powers.
Nice barrier you have there, but how about I show you and the viewers the power and absolute broken combos of Artificer? By using my ultimate, I can triple cast any attack I do, so watch what a triple arrow barrage does to you. What do you think of that?
A real man would have used the Tempest specialization and gotten up close and personal, but I guess both me and your father know you have a long way to go before you're a real man.
Ouch, I felt that one from here. You good, Double D?
Oh, believe me, I'm fine. That's the closest thing this demon will do for damage this entire fight, believe me. Just for that, though, you have earned an extra ultimate from Varric, and this time you have no barrier to stop it. While I'm doing that, Obama destroy this thing with lore yaps.
All right, I've never done that before, but I could give it a try. Well, how about I start off by talking about the cut content around this quest and who the real antagonist was supposed to be in the Fade before the Fear Demon.
Don't you dare bring up scrapped ideas. I am perfection.
So originally we were going to meet the Architect from Awakening in the Fade here. He, of course, would be aware that Corypheus is like him. However, they would have viewed the Blight and Darkspawn different. The Architect could have been a possible ally of ours, or he could have stayed on the side of Corypheus depending on our choices. If you're wondering how the Architect would have survived possibly dying in Awakening, it's because just like Corypheus, he can transfer into other blighted individuals. Refusing to side with the Architect likely would have meant leaving him in the Fade here and hoping he didn't escape since he is functionally immortal otherwise.
The Architect being here would make sense for why the Wardens are involved in this quest in the first place. He is obsessed with Warden blood, so maybe he was helping Corypheus with his mage ritual so he could get all the Warden blood he wanted after the fact. Why didn't they include that in the first place?
Because it wouldn't work, which is why they cut it in the first place. You all lucked out getting a far better Fade sequence with the living embodiment of fear than a lying hypocrite like the Architect who makes a compelling case by gaslighting all the facts.
Actually, now that I think about it, would the Architect be replacing the Fear Demon or the Divine Spirit? Because why would the Architect be in the Fade unless there was some demon controlling the realm?
We don't know for sure, but it's far more likely the Architect would have replaced the Divine while the Fear Demon was still here. They likely would have been working together, but the Architect could be convinced to turn traitor.
Oh wait, he wouldn't be replacing me. Never mind, keep going. That doesn't sound so bad.
The prospect of having 2 villains for one main quest would have been amazing if they could actually pull it off. Pulling it off being the main word here, since it's easy to see where Fear and the Architect could clash, then you wind up with too much going on, and a lot of players are lost at what to do.
That's exactly why the Architect ended up being cut. As much of a lore positive as it was to have him return, it would also bring up a lot of questions as to how he survived and how he fits into the Corypheus plot. We already have a lot of loosely connected villains like the Duchess, the Envy Demon, and Fear Demon. The Architect might have suspended our disbelief more.
Not to mention POTUS was originally supposed to return as the Warden contact, which was an obvious connection between the Wardens and the Architect that became impossible once they realized they couldn't account for every possible hero of Ferelden race and voice.
I bet it fills you all with a sense of dread that if this game came out just slightly later, they could have used AI to bring the Warden back with every voice option possible.
For once we agree, although that fills me with dread for a number of reasons. EA using AI voices wouldn't end with just the Warden, and it would be a quick step towards something bland and horrifying.
That's probably why he suggested it in the first place, Barry. Anyways, Fear, it's time to die.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I don't think you really noticed, but we have been tossing your demon salad for the last 5 minutes. You didn't even touch Cassandra or the Inquisitor either, just the egg. So congrats on being about as strong as an empowered Hinterlands bandit.
You might kill me, but all of you, especially you, Joe and Donald, shall know true fear in this series soon enough. Ha 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 ha.
Well, I guess it's about time we have the Dragon Age Vermar moment and decide who isn't making it to the end of this story. Fortunately, it's Donald, so the decision is kind of guaranteed since we first started playing this game.
Yeah, I agree, Joe. It is an obvious call. On one hand, we have a filthy murderer, and on the other side, we have the slayer of the archdemon himself.
I'm sorry, what the fuck did you say? Barry, please tell me Hawke kills the archdemon in a side series or something.
No, he doesn't. And even if he did, Donald would be the last to know about it. He is referencing the fact Loghain stole the last blow on the archdemon, but I don't know what he is talking about with Hawke.
Oh, come now, Obama. It's like you said all the way at the start of our series. What was it again? Editor roll, that clip.
At least Loghain got all his men alive to fight another day. In my opinion, it's really no different than choosing to let the Council die in mass, effect of 1, because you don't want to sacrifice Alliance soldiers. Yes, it's not a morally good choice, but it's not outright evil either. I think the situation is more gray. I mean, okay, I did say that, but that was about what happened at Ostagar. We are 2 games and 2 years past that.
I know, and then we got to the lands meet. Me and Joe, for once in our lives, agreed on something. Loghain's justice was at hand, but man, it was almost 2 years ago. What happened next? Me and Joe are still on the same page, right, Joe? It's all right, Joseph. Just go ahead and push the kill Loghain button.
Okay, hear me out, boys.
God damn it, you sleepy brain-dead fuck. Can you, for once in your 500-year-old life, stick to a goddamn choice, you puppet prick?
Look, I don't know if it's the clarity of dropping out of the presidency or the post-nut clarity of banging Leliana, but I feel much less burdened and vengeful. And I think if we can't give Honora the crown and make Alistair a warden, we should make Loghain the warden rep instead. All right, Donald, I get your point. I've gotten your point since Dragon Age 2 when you wouldn't shut up about this choice. What do you want me to say? I'm sorry for changing my mind for the content.
Too little, too late. Saying I'm sorry won't bring back Big Bro Alistair in our squad. And it certainly won't kill this traitor to my right. You could have killed Loghain at the lands meet. I would sooner spare a robe than spare the wet blanket Stroud. But like I said, I respect Loghain now, and that comes with a heavy choice, doesn't it?
Donald, I am all for freedom of choice. But this seems kind of evil, like worse than murdering Mordin in Mass Effect 3 evil.
Donald, look, please, man. Just leave Hawke out of this. I am this close to begging here. I will go back and kill Loghain right after this episode. Just stop joking here.
Oh, believe me, I'm all out of jokes. How does it feel, boys, to have expected Loghain to die here? To want him to die here and knowing that he gets to live anyway? And not just me, but everyone watching?
Donald, for the love of God, think of Isabella.
Watching you all feel the pain I went through 2 games ago, it stirs up a feeling. I think there's a term for it, but I just can't put my finger on it. Oh, right, it's called...
Vengeance!
Hawke, no!
This is for Anders, bitch. Consider the deal complete.
Always the maker
I think for the first time since I have done this series, I may be at a loss for words here. I'm not depressed, but I feel like I lost something.
Well, I am depressed for the both of us. Donald, what the hell did you do?
What do you mean? I clearly beat the boss, saved the Wardens and the world. Job complete. Wait, why the hell is the Ostigard traitor still here?
Donald, you murdering piece of shit. Don't even try to rage bait right now.
I am really lost here. Didn't I just defeat the fear demon, then feed the traitor what was left of him?
No, you gave Hawke to the fear demon, claiming it was payback for not killing Loghein during the lands meet.
I don't remember doing that, but that sucks, I guess.
All you have to say for yourself is that sucks. We just lost Jobadon Hawke, one of our 3 protagonists, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, and I lost my host's body, and Donald lost his chance at vengeance for Alistair and Duncan, so we all don't get what we want now. I know Donald might have been talked out of it, so just this once I assume direct control. Now, our deal is complete. You can call on me anytime, and the scales of justice have been balanced. Mic drop.
Wait, he can assume direct control of me? That seems kind of bad.
Where's Hawke?
Where's Hawke, Donald?
Varric, man, I'm sorry I got betrayed, and because of some beautiful deals, your best friend didn't quite make it.
To save us and strike a decisive blow against Corypheus.
Well?
Varric,
That's a very political way to say you murdered his best friend, Donald. You really have been in office a long time.
He gave his life, not because he'd sworn an oath or been marked as special, but because someone had to do it.
Look, I seriously don't remember killing Hawke, okay, but it's fine. We can get that Varric approval back by banishing the Wardens.
Just shut up, Donald. I don't care what you do or that he took control, because you're the one who let him inside in the first place. You killed my favorite protagonist from my favorite game and a memory I enjoyed with you all. You can personally face fuck the Wardens for all I care. I need a goddamn minute.
Oh, damn it, Donald.
Oh, come on, Obama. Are you going to grill me too about killing Hawke? Your boyfriend gets to live and become a Warden commander, and you're all about choices mattering.
No, not about the Hawke choice. I am pissed you exiled the Wardens because that is +5 points for Cassandra becoming divine and breaking up with us. Combine that with the fact the Inquisition speech was for the faithful and recruiting the Templars, and she has at least 10 points above the other candidates. You're just committed to ruining everyone's day today, huh? Don't even bother telling Joe this right now. I will have to break it to them later.
I mean, if you look at the approval spectrum, everyone except Dorian, Blackwall, and Iron Bull approved of exiling the Wardens. So in terms of optimal companion approval, I stay winning, boys. I even countered the British elf's disapproval by keeping Beardwall in the party. You never know when his beard oils might come in handy.
Companion approval is already all but locked in, but I guess this is a nice cushion for any hiccups we might have during judgment. Welcome back, Joe.
I am just here for Liliana, not for you or the 300-pound murderer next to you, Barry.
Well, happy goddamn day for me. At least I can use the new nobility perk I just picked up this episode.
If we put out a discreet warning about the danger they pose.
We can actually use this regardless of whether we exile the Wardens or not. The context is just using countries that approve or disapprove of the Wardens.
What countries disapprove of Wardens anyway?
Probably any country that isn't the Anderfels or Ferelden being honest nobles, don't like Wardens being able to do whatever on their property.
Liliana, I know you're prepared for the smoke with the Empress, but we have a large laundry list of content left before we tackle the assassination plot. Besides, the assassination only works when the ball is held, and the peace talks only happen when the Inquisition says it happens.
Plus, you guys are going to need me to play that section, and I don't know if or when I will be willing to play with any of you.
What the hell does that mean?
Don't worry about it.
All right, keep your secrets then. I almost forgot that the basic bard was best friends with her former boss. I normally wouldn't care about her feelings, but in the interest of being nice, I will let her vent just this once.
Seemed calm, serene even, and she guided us the whole way through.
That does sound like her.
She did ask me to tell you something.
I don't know if that really helped Liliana or just traumatized her more, being honest, because she seems really thrown off by that.
I almost saw a bit of Origins Liliana out of that reaction. Traumatizing everyone just seems to be the name of the game with you, though, huh, Donald?
Perhaps later we might discuss the matter further.
I hope you expect to apologize to everyone for what you did.
Yeah, I get the message. I'll make sure to apologize to Varric, and hell, I'll even talk to Blackwall while I am here.
Adamant is, and always will be, the Order, he said. A guardian on the edge of the abyss. The lone soul that stares into oblivion and doesn't waver.
Surprisingly, Blackwall's lines here don't change, regardless of the Warden's exile or not, even if he is the only person who greatly disapproves of the Wardens being exiled.
He might be glazing Clairol too hard here. Sure, she died pulling a martyrdom on the fake archdemon, but she was about to do a massive blood sacrifice on other Wardens, while she believed she would live and get to control a massive demon. I know the game doesn't want to act like that is what she was doing, but that is what happened.
Yeah, Blackwall is lost in the Grey Warden sauce with this one.
Blackwall's morality is always intention, and acting is the bravest thing someone can do, regardless of actual intent or outcome. It's simple compared to many other BioWare characters, and it's why he is so opinionated about almost every decision we make in this game concerning someone else's fate.
It's probably why they put so many Grey Warden artifacts everywhere in this game.
I guess we're not going to get anything else besides Clarel Glaze. Bro better become a more nuanced character, or this story will not end well for him.
It's not the armor or the trappings of the Order. It's not the joining. At the heart of it, all a Warden is a promise. To protect others, even at the cost of your own life.
Damn, I bet Barry wishes he was Iron Bull right now.
You're goddamn right. I mean, yeah, that would be enjoyable sometime, being honest.
Well, at least you're being more honest about your feelings, Obama.
I should have asked Cullen.
You pressed the Cullen button.
You shouldn't have did that.
That's definitely a notable feat on Cassandra's part. She knocked Bull on his ass with only a stick, and he felt it too.
Cassandra is a top 10 companion strength-wise for a reason. Also for someone who just got branded Tal Vashoth Iron Bull. Sure is participating in Qunari rituals rather willingly.
I mean, that's not really anything new. We see that with the mercenary in Dragon Age 2, who still tries to keep his honor. I'm more so surprised our elf twink can hit Iron Bull hard enough for this to work.
I know you're addicted to the renegade actions, but something tells me this is going to sound incredibly sus in a few moments.
There we go.
Nah, Joe, this is just what a typical boy sleepover looks like versus a typical girl sleepover.
Who's stuck in the fade, huh?
POV how Dragon Age sounds when your parents walk in.
You fought in that siege. Every demon in Adamant wanted to tear you in half. I bet, you demon asshole.
Rest in peace to the non-headphone users with this one, boys.
And who killed you? That's right. Iron fucking Bull.
I know we are just role-playing, but Hawke is the one that killed Nightmare, not you, Bull, and you don't get to pretend otherwise. Speaking of Hawke, it's time to go and apologize to Varric for your sins, Donald.
Absolutely devious work playing the Hawke family theme for this scene.
All right, not only do we need to hit a massive F for the champion of Kirkwall, but we deserve to let Varric say his story one more time for me and all the Hawke fans.
Merchant caste businessmen. They took a lot of people's coin in order to arrange the import of wandering hills from the Anderfells. A delicacy, I'm told. Their weird, foreign foodstuffs arrived alive, and one of them, true to its name, wandered off in the middle of the night.
Mandatory, bro. Hug here, though.
So this story here has 3 different outcomes depending on Hawke's personality here. One last nod to the amazing personality system from Dragon Age 2.
The guild traced the shipments to Hawke's uncle, but as usual, he was so far in debt he couldn't see daylight. So they went after Hawke instead. They sent guys from the local carter to Hawke's estate one night. 5 big dusters, armed to the teeth. They kick in the door, and Hawke yells, "You're just in time," and drags them over to a game of Wicked Grace. They played 2 hands of cards before the city guard showed up to take them away. A couple of them became regulars in our weekly game. Hawke just had that effect on people. I always wanted to tell that one. Thanks. I guess I've got some letters to write. I should tell Meryl the news.
Oh my God, I completely forgot about Meryl.
I'm really sorry, Joe.
Yeah, you're not the one I needed from Barry.
Yeah, I'm sorry about Hawke. At least all those mages and the Dalish clan we killed got some justice now, though, right?
Hey, Donald.
What?
Fuck you.
Oh, okay then.
No, seriously, just fuck you, Donald. You're a goddamn murderer who thinks this is all some damn joke for content. You've always been a selfish prick, but you took it one step too far.
All right, let's all take a deep breath here.
No, shut the fuck up too, Barry, and stay on the fence like you always do. I'm done. Not for this episode, for this entire series. Fuck Dragon Age. Fuck this channel, and fuck you. Good luck trying to count the bodies, Donald. Will pile up on the way out.
I guess let's finish up with the judgments for the episode, I guess.
I don't think I have ever seen him that beaten before, and I was there during his first playthrough of Mass Effect 3 and when Kamala kicked him out of the race.
We got 2 weeks before the next episode. I am sure he will bounce back by then. It's too bad he is going to miss what I had cooked up in store for this Magister asshole here.
To say nothing of justice you might personally require for what was suffered in the fair.
All right, as depressed as I am about Hawke and the Wardens, I am somewhat curious what you had in mind, since you've been talking about it since last episode. The normal options we have here is imprisonment, which Dorian, Blackwall, Varric, Vivienne, and Sarah approve of, while Cole disapproves of. Execution, which Iron Bull, Cole, Solas, and Sarah approve of, and no one disapproves of. And if the Wardens weren't exiled, we can send him to them for judgment, which Blackwall, Iron Bull, Cole, and Sarah approve of, while Solas disapproves.
Rightful ruler of every piece of ground you trod in your pathetic life. I serve the living God. Bring down your blades and free me from the physical. Glory awaits me.
Cool story, Obama, but none of those are the options I am choosing. Thanks to the power of mods, I can show this son of a bitch true fear.
Damn, Donald, you were so hard for spite against mages. You modded new ways to punish them. I am actually impressed with how petty that is.
Thank you. Hope you enjoy your funny sun tattoo, Dedius.
You are the worst of us. The damage you have done is beyond all reckoning. A mage's crime, a mage's punishment. Lord Livius Aramund of Verantium, I deny you death. Tranquility.
You cannot! I am a lord, you pissants! I will not lose myself!
Well, we have one more judgment left to take, since apparently Blackwall wasn't the only warden who ignored our exile order.
I mean, as long as Loghein was exiled, it's okay when a few of them slip through the cracks. This girl wants us to kill her, though. Talk about bringing down the vibes.
I don't think it's possible to bring down the vibes more than what was already done this episode.
Ruth is a senior warden of the order. She was one of the many who slit the throat of another.
This girl is basically the opposite of Blackwall's morality. The intention of her actions isn't enough to justify what she did, and now the only fitting punishment in her eyes is to prevent her from harming anyone else.
Well, one more time for the fans, Obama. What are our outcomes for the depressed warden here?
All right, this judgment is the most varied out of any other one in the game since the Warden decision, and a faithful Inquisitor can have unique choices. You can, as always, imprison here, which in the biggest plot twist Cole approves of, while Solas, Iron Bull, and Syrah disapprove. You can sentence her to public humiliation, which Solas and Vivienne approve of, while Blackwall, Syrah, and Cole disapprove. If you sided with the Wardens, you can refuse to judge her and give her to the Wardens, which Syrah, Iron Bull, and Blackwall approve, while Cassandra, Cole, Vivienne, and Solas disapprove. If you exiled the Wardens, you can do the same for her, which Blackwall and Solas approve of. My personal favorite is you can sentence her to the long walk in the deep roads, which Syrah, Iron Bull, Varric, and Cole approve of, while Solas disapproves. And finally, a faithful Inquisitor can absolve her sins as the Herald, which Iron Bull, Cole, Syrah, Blackwall, and Cassandra approve of, while Solas disapproves.
Holy shit, you weren't kidding about the options. That was a damn thesis. Well, I always do the deep roads since it's the classic Warden punishment, but I rarely play a faithful paladin. So let's see that outcome, shall we?
Sometimes we need a reminder. Sir Ruth, the Herald of Andraste forgives you in her name. Find peace in that.
Your worship, I will try.
Well, with the judgments taken care of and the viewers traumatized, do you want to close us out here, Donald?
Sure, I guess. I'll just wrap up with some Royal Robe content. Viewers, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and a F for Hawke, as well as commenting what choice you made in your first playthrough of Here Lies the Abyss. Next time, if Joe comes back, he will handle the Emerald Graves and a handful of companion quests. If not, well, I don't know, but the show must go on. That's it for me. Stay safe. Trump out.